try, let them push. He will rise above the wrong. Cause a true calypso and soul does always find its song. You could block his mic, but you can't stop his word. He is power, he is purpose, let the whole world hear. For 25 years he ruled the air, a calypso and with rhythm, and plenty flair, voice like honey, words like flame. Star comes pride, we all knew his name. He rose with it dawn, or tuned to the mic, each syllable sharp, each moment it strike, giving soul to sound and sound to soul. A man whose mission made radio whole. They could shut down the station, they could shut down the man. Camels of truth when they talking strong and standing with the land. From the cradle of the rhythm to the people in the street. His voice, his fire, his drum beat after beat. But tides can turn and tempers fly. Truth sometimes makes the powers cry, but daring to speak for standing tall. They try to silence the voice of all, yet still he stands with courage right. Stand up for your rights, don't give up the fight. The airwaves miss his mighty tone, but his spirit sings he's not alone. They could shut down the station, they can shut down the man. Camels of truth when they talking strong and standing with the land. From the cradle of the rhythm to the people in the street. His voice, his fire, his drum beat after beat. For every note he ever spun was born of love, of heart, of son. And though they close one station's door, his purpose beats forevermore. So lift your head, brave son of song. Your legacy is forever strong. The rhythm echoes pure and long. Up and on, up and on. They could shut down the station, they can shut down the man. Camels of truth when they talking strong and standing with the land. From the cradle of the rhythm to the people in the street. His voice, his fire, his drum beat after beat.
From Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, boys and girls. You are watching the Marcia Weekes Show, and we're coming to you live from Barbados. I'm holding in my hand the national flag of Barbados. Let's straighten it out. And you just heard that beautiful, beautiful song, and it is the anthem. Believe it or not, the national anthem of Barbados. Very, very beautiful. Lovely lyrics, lovely arrangement. It is beautiful. Good evening. It's Friday, November 14th. And it's one day before the Solidarity Walk. Together for Freedom, stand with Ronnie. And that is going to be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Listen, you don't want to miss it. Listen, every time that we walk and we make noise, folks, we're going to make noise. We are going to make noise tomorrow. And we are saying oppression. Every oppression in Barbados is underneath our feet. Every time that we walk, come on, guys, you got to go out and walk with us. Walk with us. Walk with us. When we walk in that solidarity walk tomorrow, fear is under our feet. Yes, oppression, all forms of political oppression, fear of victimization, fear of marginalization, threats, huh? All of those things, they are under our feet. So tomorrow we're wearing white. Tomorrow we're wearing white tomorrow. Okay? And tomorrow, what are we saying? What are we saying? We're saying that together we are walking for freedom. Freedom of expression. Freedom of conscience. Freedom of speech. Freedom of association. So all those who want to take our pictures and said we were outside, yes, we were at that march. Yes, we were there. Up front and center, we were there. Yes, we were at the march. Go ahead, take my picture. Take my picture. I was at the march. In the Constitution, it says what? I have the right to associate with whomever I want to associate with. Freedom of association. Freedom of expression. Freedom of speech. And that's what we're saying when we get out there tomorrow at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock rock. We are going to be on the outside. Yes, we outside. And you know what, today we actually went down to we actually went down to Independence Square today. And Ronnie did a little video. Dave, if you have it and you can get it ready. And the stage was going up. It's the first we've had a stage in a long time. We've tried to cut expenses and not have a stage. We want to thank the company for helping with the tent. That particular company decided to give us the tent, right? And I'm looking for, just give me a moment and I'm going to tell you. He says, make sure you mention my company's name, and it's Belle, Belle, Belle Staging. All right. So Belle, and if you message me, you can get the number in case you're doing anything for Christmas, or and you want to assist, and you need a stage, or you need tents, and they're excellent. I mean, when you go there tomorrow, they're not just putting down this half baked anything. It's done up nicely with the sides, and it looks really good. It looks really, really good. And it's not big because we're only speaking on it. There's no, we don't have any dancing and any singing and all of that. But something is happening in Independence Square tomorrow. When we leave Massacre Park, right? Kensington Mall, okay? The old name was Massacre Park. This is right there in front of Kensington, okay? When we leave there, we're going to walk all the way past Cheapside, and we make a little stop right there at Cheapside, and then we're going to move on to we make another stop right there near St. Mary's Church, and we will make another stop just beyond Bionic Man Shop, where you have all of the taxi men where they congregate there. And then we are going to go down to Cave Shepherd, and we make a stop in front of Cave Shepherd. We usually get a nice crowd there, and then right in front of Parliament, yes. And then we go across the bridge and we go to Independence Square, and that is where the man in the chair on the air, Mr. Ronnie Clarke, is going to say it all. Say it all. He's going to say it all. So you've got to come out. You've got to support. We still are in need. We still are in need of funds, people. We still need some money. So what we need is the truck, because we've now been able to take care of the stage and all the other expenses. We paid the insurance today because we've had to pay insurance for the, because we're going to be in the park. We also paid a fee to the park as well. I'm saying the park, but it's square. So we paid for Independence Square, and we paid for the insurance already. Okay. And so we have some donations that will completely cover the if everything comes in tomorrow, we'll completely cover the stage. Thank God to Bell Staging. They gave us the tent free, but we still have to pay the transportation and also the for the staging itself, the stage itself. So we have to do that. But I believe enough is in for that. It is the truck, or big truck, is coming, Charlie, and we thank God for Charlie, and we're really excited about that, and we give God thanks more than anything else. I have to. I want to thank those who helped me today. It's a lot of running around. We left home from early and just came back. I didn't even change much. Just came and started to put the show together because this was priority. I wanted to make sure I had all the permits. You tell everybody we have all the permits. I want to thank the Commissioner of Police for upholding the constitutional rights of the people of Barbados to hold peaceful walks, peaceful marches, peaceful protests. Nobody else in this country has the right to whether to allow or not to allow. So when you hear the Prime Minister speaking, she has no say, absolutely no say. There is a constitution, and that part of it is governed by, it's a commission of police will look at each situation and determine whether we are going to, whether they're going to allow us to march or not, depending on what's happening in the country, etc., or whatever else. And I want to believe our Commission of Police is independent and would not allow themselves to be swayed if they get a call. And this government is very, very, very quick to make calls. And some people wonder, is a question, they wonder if that's the same thing that happened in Ronnie's case. So we were on pins and needles today waiting. But luckily everything, and those of you who helped, again, because of the fear that is in the country, I can't even say all the people who helped. But thank you to everybody who helped to make sure we had all of our permits. And we're not going down there without the permits. Okay, we're not going to go without those permits. I won't put you in any trouble with any police. That's a commitment I've made. I'm not going to invite you anywhere that I don't have a permit. Got to have your permit in your hand. I got to be responsible for the people I'm inviting out. You have your families, etc. I won't do it. So people were calling, are you going to get the thing? Oh, I'm like, relax. If we don't have it, at least we'll have Independence Square. But we have it. We have the permits. Thanks to the Commissioner of Police, nobody else. Based on the Constitution of Barbados, right? And I talk all the time, and Dave moved Ronnie's thing. Dave, could you put it back for me? Let me see what he's telling me. He was ready, and I wasn't. Go right ahead, Dave. Sorry about that, folks. In the meantime, while he brings it back up, I'm going to use the time. Teroni, good evening. Judy Jilks, how are you, Judy? I am waiting to see you tomorrow. Awaken, Mavis Lashley, Flo Joe, Andrea Critchlow, Matthew B. Matthew B, let's break and let's hear Ronnie, and then we're going to go back and welcome everybody. Go ahead, Dave.
Independence Square. Saturday, November 15th. Together, you and I, walking for freedom. Freedom of speech. 10 a.m., Kensington Mall Car Park. Up to Independence Square. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Come out. Freedom of expression, freedom of speech. In action. Don't miss it.
Well, there you have it. It's happening. It's happening tomorrow. Tomorrow, bring somebody with you. There's nothing to fear. There is nothing to fear. As I said, every time that we walk, every step that we are going to take, folks, believe that when we step, we are stepping on fear. We're stepping on oppression. We're stepping out corruption. We're stepping on lies under our feet. We are people of truth. We are people who know who we are. We are people who are not afraid. Every time you step, you are crushing. You crush lies. You crush fear. You crush oppression. You crush self-doubt. You crush corruption in this country. You crush marginalization. You crush victimization. You are crushing it. That walk tomorrow is so important. I want you to see yourselves like when they were walking in Martin Luther King and all of these others who had all of these marches. See yourself, see Marcus Garvey and all of them who walked for something and stood for something. I tell you, Barbados, if you don't stop, if you don't put a comma or a full stop at this spot here and take a pause here, believe you me, this is going to be the order of the day. I'm getting calls from the fire service where there are, senior firemen, fire personnel who are being victimized for speaking out. Right there at the fire service. They can't join a union. So what are they to do? Some of them not even getting their medals. The medals that they work for, they use that to punish the fire personnel. The firemen are being punished for what? Speaking out. There are young women who are being molested in this country. And guess what? No justice for them. And they're ashamed to speak out. Because you yourselves, a lot of you won't even believe them. And so people go into silence. But tomorrow, folks, you're walking for all of them. Where my thing is at? That's the call. My spoon. This is my spoon. I'm a pot. Listen, I beat this pot so much that the handle is gone. They said, what happened to the pot cover? It's gone. Okay. We have special placards ready. Thank you, CG. CG came and CG did over the placards, and everything is about freedom. Tomorrow that's what we're talking about: freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of association. Right? It's all about freedom. All the placards, that's what they're going to say. We'll also have Barbados flags because it's around Barbados, right? Everything is centered around Barbados. We'll have Barbados flag because we love our country. It's a love of country. It's not hating the country as they would want us to believe, because you are resisting. They say we're hating. All right. So tomorrow, folks, those of you who can bring a donation, going to ask you kindly to bring the donation to help us with the truck. That's how we pay our bills. We do not have anybody writing any big checks to us, okay? We don't have anybody writing any big checks. We just do our things orderly, and we when we put on something, it's quality. Loyal opposition, you know how we do our thing. Quality. Someone is going to donate water. I hope we'll have enough, right? I think she's going to do 5 cases of water. Yes. And she didn't say if I could say her name, so I'm not saying it. And look at that. Again, it's a fear of victimization. Okay. So let me continue to welcome everybody. Where was I? I want to make sure I call all these names. I did say Judy Jilks. I know that for sure. Judy, more power to you, girl. Awakened, Mavis Lashley, Flo, Joe Maloney, Andrea Critchlow, good night. Matthew B., are you going to join us? Ronald Archer, Bob Plan, Jefferson, Viha, you can't join us. You can't join us, but you did do something special. You didn't say if I can say anything, so I can't say. Sir Alfred Benjamin from Brooklyn. Marcia Miller. Marcia, you coming? Marcia, this is my Filipino. Marcia, are you coming? CG, I saw the placard, CG. Well done. CG, you're a keeper. God bless you. And when I say, CG, let me give you back some money there for the card. She's like, no, I mean, and CG, you're the best. Sam Clark, Michael Jilks, Beverly Prescott. We are a team, Shirley. Shirley, are you the same Shirley? Are you the Shirley? I don't know if it's you. Cami, but if it's you, thank you. Cami, Sharon Innes. Oh, am I seeing you guys? Keith Kinch, am I seeing you all? Tyrone Blackman. Am I seeing you all tomorrow? Monica. Sonny! I think I'm going to see Sonny tomorrow. That's right, VR. Freedom to disagree. freedom to share your opinion. And I'm hoping that Dave could find just that little section for me again in the PowerPoint that we shared. Let me tell you, that thing is so freeing. Yeah? Because when we lose our fear, that's when they lose their power. Ronnie has lost his fear, if he even had one. I know there are people telling him, Ronnie, don't do it tomorrow. Don't go up there. You believe that? There are people telling Ronnie, don't do it. Don't do it, Ronnie. Don't do it. Fear. And they're bringing their own fear onto people. You know, freedom to be a loyal citizen. There's a chapter in the book that I wrote, when we lose our fear, they lose their power. And there's a chapter in there where I was imagining what was happening in each Barbadian household the morning before the 1937 riot started. Can you imagine? So I used my imagination as I was writing that chapter in the book. And I thought, and I was thinking, can you imagine what that mother might have been saying to the son that is going out? You imagine what that mother might be saying? What the neighbor might be saying to come and tell the mother that that son is going out? Can you imagine? Think about it. In the context of people telling Ronnie, don't do it. Don't go. Don't do it. Don't tell it all. Pray about it and leave it. You believe that? Yes, I'm hyped up already. Hey, Patricia Graves, Hasbra. Oh my goodness. Oh, Sonny said we'll see you there. Marva. Oh goodness. Oh my lordy. Pauline Maynard. Jacqueline Allen. Mildred Ben. Mavis Lashley. Chris Brewster. Can I just say a big shout out to everybody in the diaspora? You're in the diaspora. Come on. Put a smile on that face and start and just receive it. Just receive. We just send in blessings. I am telling you, you are so important to this meeting. Kim T, you're coming tomorrow? Sing, Ronnie, sing. Oh my goodness. Dave, you have that one? Teroni. Bossa. Listen. Vihoy, you're getting me stirred up. Bossa in the house, man. Bossa said we outside. What Bossa saying? Bossa said we outside. That's what Bossa saying. Bossa said tomorrow, November 15. Bossa said we outside. That's the spirit hurricane. We outside. We outside. We outside. Is that true, Patricia? Somebody send me if it's true. They had a fire drill in Swan Street today. I tell you something, they're about to burn those people out of that place. Oh gosh. Yes, they are pressing these people who are not able. Our firemen, the police, the prison officers. I've been hearing about the prison officers who they can't. A lot of these people who offer this service to us, or servicemen, they can't join a union. They have organizations, and some of the organizations are not functioning. And some of these people who are their superior, they get one call. One call. And that's it. A lot of the people in the fire service are being oppressed. Our firemen, they can't. How are they supposed to do a great job? Can you imagine? You work for your medal, Chris Brewster. You work for your medal. And these people are going to hold that over people's head and believe that they're going to hold back what belongs to those firemen. These people had to bring lawyers to get their medals. And we are so awful to each other, but we don't have any strength for the government. We take it out on each other. We get a little office. We get into a little office and we start to oppress one another. The same thing they did to the nurses at geriatric. I will not stop speaking about those nurses at geriatric. Can you imagine the nurses used their professionalism, their training, to say you cannot put sick people with people who are not sick. People who, if people have scabies, how are you going to mix up all of the elderly together and to give people relatives scabies in their old age? And they speak up, and then they speak up. And you know what? Victimized. Barbados, they're doing the same thing to the people in the fire service who cannot form a union. Yes, they risk their lives every day. No respect for them. And as long as I have this platform, I'm going to use it. Listen, I thank God for Mr. Franklin. You hear me? Caswell Franklin, wherever you are, take a bow. You have multiplied yourself. You are the one, when you were on this platform, you were the one talking to, telling everybody about what the workers in this country, what they endure by this same government that is supposed to uphold the laws of this country, the way workers are being treated. So here we're talking about Ronnie Clarke in private Barbados, in a private enterprise. But let me tell you, it's worse in the public sector. You're even victimized for your political beliefs. There was a time in Jamaica, you share a different political belief and you have to be whispering. You got to be whispering. Is that where we're headed? Nobody, you can't get up and say one word against this government. We're going to play Sing Ronnie Sing. Dave, the people want sing. I believe me, if what you're hearing is really so, I am hearing from several different people in the fire service. We are not treating our workers properly. But the people are rising up. They contacted me and say, tell Barbados for us. I'm so proud of the people in the fire service. And the senior fire service personnel are speaking up, and they are being punished. Dave, you ready for Sing Ronnie Sing? Listen, folks, Sing Ronnie Sing. You know that gonna be. I'm sure. I don't choose the music, but I'm hoping that is one of the songs that we'll be blaring on the road tomorrow. Blasting on the road tomorrow. We're gonna probably hear a lot of Ronnie songs on the road and seeing everybody. Today, Ronnie was in town and everybody was just all over Ronnie. And the people love the announcer. They love the announcer. Come out and show him some love tomorrow. Okay? Come out and show him some love tomorrow. Dave, just indicate to me if you're able to. Okay, now while Dave is doing that, folks, I see Zico John is going to be joining us soon. And Zico is going to join us. We are going to go right into, after Zika joins us, if Dave could send me a message so I know exactly what is happening. Okay, I see what's happening, Dave. We'll wait on you. Folks, Hurricane is saying that they're hearing this from the mouths of several fire officers. I do hear it as well. And I know some of them have had to seek legal counsel. They don't have a union. And let me tell you, those of you who can be unionized, if you can be in a union and you're not, Unity Workers Union, you know Mr. Caswell Franklin, he fights on behalf of these of workers. I know that even these fire service personnel who are not in his union, Mr. Franklin will have conversations with them and will advise them, and he does this free of cost. Unity Workers Union, I tell you, I believe that if we can strengthen Caswell's union. And when, he would always say, don't promote the union, don't promote the union. He would always tell me that. But, I was thinking about it this evening, and we were chatting with someone else. And, I said, no, we need to do that. I know Mr. Franklin doesn't like when we do that. He doesn't ask us to do it. But it makes sense. There are too many workers who are suffering in this country. So it makes sense. Okay, go right ahead, Dave.
The Kaisonka with news from Bridgetown that must make every Kaiso lover's blood boil. They fire the announcer, they fire Ronnie. Why? Cause he sing a Kaiso critical of a big wig in culture. They forget the power of Gabi. We have one message. Sing Ronnie say. The station censure him. They fire the man. Cause he sing a Kaiso about the culture plan. They try to shut him up. They try to kill his sound, but they can't stop the truth from spreading all around. It's the same thing they do to the mighty Gabi. They bang government boots, now they vex with Ronnie. Tell them loud.
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
Let the Kaiso ring.
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
The truth you must bring. Now the River Road Station, they think they clever. Throw your song in the river, but Kaiso live forever. What? Kaiso live forever. Yes. They ban the song, Jack who block the people's beach. They always try to silence the Kaiso speech. They're afraid of the peacock, they're afraid of the light, they're afraid of the people standing up for their right. But Ronnie joined the band of legends, proud and tall, and the people stand behind him, ready for the call. So we tell them,
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
let the Kaiso ring.
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
The truth you must bring. Now the River Road Station, they think they clever. Throw your song in the river, but Kaiso live forever. But Kaiso live forever. Hey, yes.
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
You can't ban the man song.
Sing,
They could throw it in the river, but it go flow out to the sea for more people to hear. My Bajan family, it's Ronnie's right to free speech.
Listen, we gotta wheel and come again with that one, Dave. We gotta come again We got to play that again. Listen, everybody, wherever you are, stand up and dance. And we're just getting ready for tomorrow. We're getting ready for tomorrow. Get up off your feet, everybody. Join this 8-year-old. There's an 8-year-old in Kim Tae's house that is singing this song. Good night to the 8-year-old. Good night to the children. Bring out the children tomorrow. Free speech. Go right ahead, Dave, from the top.
We have one message. Sing, Ronnie, sing. The station censure him. They fire the man. Cause he sing a case about the culture plan. They try to shut him up. They try to kill his sound. But they can't stop the truth from spreading all around. It's the same thing they do to the mighty Gabi. They ban government boots. Now they vex with Ronnie. Tell them loud.
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
Let the guys so ring.
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
The truth you must bring. Now the River Road Station. They think they clever. Throw your song in the river. But guys will live forever. What? Guys will live forever. Yes. They ban the song. Jack who block the people's beach. They always try to silence the Kaiso speech. They're afraid of the peacock. They're afraid of the light. They're afraid of the people standing up for their right. But Ronnie joined the band of legends, proud and tall, and the people stand behind him, ready for the call. So we tell them,
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
let the Kaiso ring.
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
The truth you must bring. Now the River Road Station. They think they clever. Throw your song in the river. But Kaiso live forever. But Kaiso live forever. Hey, yes.
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
You can't ban the man song.
Sing,
They could throw it in the river, but it go flow out to the sea for more people to hear. My Bajan family, it's Ronnie's right to free speech.
Listen, the excitement starts already, you know. We start already. We start already. Folks, we are going to express ourselves tomorrow. Huh? You want to suppress us? If we gonna make more noise. Play that song. Where's Zico there? Zico, let us, we're enjoying ourselves, Zico. We're going to have one more song. We're starting our march from now. Dave, play that song there. Dave, play that one.
That must make every Kaiso lover's blood boil. They fire the announcer, they fire Ronnie. Why? Cause he sing a Kaiso, critical of a big wig in culture. They forget the power of Gabi. We have one message. Sing, Ronnie, sing. The station censure him. They fire the man. Cause he sing a Kaiso about the culture plan. They try to shut him up. They try to kill his sound. But they can't stop the truth from spreading all around. It's the same thing they do to the mighty Gabi. They ban government boots. Now they vex with Ronnie. Tell them loud.
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
Let the Kaiso ring.
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
The truth you must bring. Now the River Road Station. They think they clever. Throw your song in the river. But Kaiso live forever. What? so speech. They're afraid of the peacock, they're afraid of the light, they're afraid of the people standing up for their right. But Ronnie joined the band of legends, proud and tall, and the people stand behind him, ready for the call. So we tell them,
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
let the Kaiser ring.
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
The truth you must bring. Now the River Road Station, they think they clever. Throw your song in the river, but Kaiser live forever. Hey, 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 yes.
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
You can't ban the man song.
Sing,
They could throw it in the river, but it go flow out to the sea for more people to hear. My Bajan family, it's Ronnie's right to free speech.
Listen, folks, we are ready. Good night, Zico. Good night, Zico.
Good night. Good night. Good night, loyal opposition.
Oh my goodness, we're in the spirit. Bossa, listen, Bossa gave us a message tonight. Bossa said we outside tomorrow.
Yes,
Bossa
yes.
said we outside.
I love it. I love it. Come on, people. Come out.
Yes. And we have not, it's a pleasure to have you on, Zico. And I know that everybody just so busy, but I thank you for taking the time out to be on. And with that, I must say, apologize to everybody that Apostle Canterbury would not be on tonight. He's overseas, and we might just have Heather Cole joining us. And I know that Alwyn Bob is on his way home. He says, when I get home, I'm jumping on. So we are ready to go. But you know what? I have not heard your take on Ronnie.
Yeah, definitely. Ronnie is a personal friend. He worked with my mom at Starcom for quite a number of years. You know, she had nothing but good praise and I mean, like, she told me some stories where Ronnie was concerned, very reliable, very dependent. I mean, like, if somebody didn't show up for work, he would take over. You know, he would either come in early or leave late, but he would make sure their job is done. You know, he would always make sure that, you know, that you could rely upon him. So to hear the news was very devastating for me. You know, it really hurt. And if it's because of a song or because of an interview, people were saying, I think it's ridiculous. What kind of message are you sending? What kind of message are you sending to young people out there, even who may be thinking about joining the Pick the Crop or doing, you know, social commentary and speak up on certain issues and the social ills? What are you saying? Is it censored now? Is it that you can only say things once? It is no longer true or offense, you know, the higher up. So it pains me though. It pains me because this is a good man. This is a good man. This is not somebody that just came on the scene. This is a man that contributed so much, you know, in terms of his knowledge, in terms of what he brought to the radio station, you know, in terms of his art. So to see something like this is very painful. And not only that, if it can happen to him, it can happen to almost anybody as well. So this is why that, you know, that people want to know why we doing this here just for one person. People lost their job every day, but no, this is just for to speak up against, you know, and what's going on and for free speech as well. Because once again, if it can happen to this public figure, imagine the multiple people that this happened to who may not have the voice or who may not have the visibility that he had. So definitely this one really touched me in a crucial way. And I called Ronnie many times for advice for certain things, for contacts, whatever it was. He never once told me no. So once again, this is very personal to me as well.
Yeah, so I know Saturday mornings are tough for you because you do your own outreach to young men, to teenagers. I know sometimes you give us an hour and then you run off to them. Are you able to drop by tomorrow?
I definitely want to show my face. I definitely have to somewhere, somehow. So I can try to figure it out tomorrow. So yeah, I definitely can try to figure it out tomorrow.
Yes. You know, and somebody said, you know, VI said this case is public and that's why people are concerned. You know, but there are so many. What she's saying is that there's so many Barbadians who are suffering in silence. Do you agree with her?
Definitely, definitely. And that way, this is so important because if this can happen to such a public figure, imagine the countless people who did not have the, who did not have the publicity or who did not have the eyes upon them. So this is basically speaking up for all of those who've been victimized for their voices, who've been victimized for speaking up, who've been victimized for speaking up on certain issues, who've been victimized because they speak truth to power. So this is why this is so important. And it's not, although he may be the face of this particular situation, it's for those countless people out there. So yeah, definitely. So many have been suffering in silence.
Yeah. With you, Zico, you've been coming on the show consistently for I would say for a couple months now. You've
Yeah.
been on the show. People are really, really encouraged when you're on, and you speak to people's soul and to their spirits. Do you get any kind of backlash? Do you hear people say, be careful, don't go back on there? Do you hear those kinds of warnings?
Yeah, I do. And my response to all of them is this. If you believe in democracy, or if you believe in having a strong nation or even a strong culture, having an objective opinion is good. And even if you disagree with some of the opinions, or if you disagree with the show or the stances, or, or even against we having looking for opposition, I think that this is why you should be on the show, so you can able to push back your opinions as well. So for me, although I may sometimes get some of the resistance from some people, and some people that be careful what you're saying and what's not, families and friends alike, it does not deter me, or does it even, scare me one bit. I welcome it actually, and I encourage anybody. If you feel a certain way, that's good for you. But I will always welcome objective thinking. I am an independent thinker. There's nobody feeding me lines. There's nobody telling me this is what to say, this is not to say. I come and speak freely, and I welcome anybody, whether a difference of opinion, whether it be a debate or whatever it is. Come on, I am down for it. And if you really value growth, the only way that growth can really happen is through dialogue. And this show brings that dialogue as well. Yes, there's a particular sector of the show where we see like the marches and stuff like that, where we actually, put our foots on the ground and get to work. But in order for anything, to be challenged and to have room for growth, it must be some level of dialogue. And with this show, I always encourage people, regardless of your opinion, if you really think that what your stance is strong, challenge it. So yeah.
Correct. And people challenge me all the time. They send me stuff, they write to me, and when people come in the comment section, I always say to the loyal opposition, once they're being respectful, leave them alone. Don't be like, some of these others on Facebook that bully people. If someone comes in the comment section with a different view, that has been my stance from day one. If they're being respectful, if they're going to come on and they're going to be disrespecting you or any of the panelists and so on here, then they got to go. All right.
Exactly. And then also to the same way how as we say, we go there, we petition for free speech. We welcome it as well. There's no way we could say it would be very disingenuous for us to say, well, we welcome free speech, but only once it's something that we like. So as I tell people all the time, watch the show. Watch the show at the end of the day. Because what we are fighting for, we're fighting for the rights of Barbadian people. There's not one political party or anything along those kind of lines. If we see something that is unjust, or we see something that that we believe that could be a future hindrance, we speak on these issues. And we welcome free speech. I would say I welcome a challenge. I'm never backing down, because if I have an opinion, I'm willing to stand upon it, and I'm willing to say why I believe this needs to be what it is. And at the end of the day, yes, it may be my opinions or some, but at the end of the day, I'm willing to back it, and then I also try to support most of my opinions with facts.
Yeah.
All right. If I can't support it with facts, it says my opinion.
And the reality is this, that the truth of the matter is this, that under the Constitution, what you're saying there is what it allows you to do, to share your own opinion. You can give an opinion on whatever you see online. Something comes on your timeline, you're free to give an opinion. It's your opinion. Once you understand that that's what it is. There are things that, I like, someone had called me to talk about these weather patterns, etc. And I had to, and they were saying that it can never be manipulated. And there are some things that are, it's your opinion, and then there's a fact because it has been manipulated. And by the way, I'm still waiting on that person to call me to challenge me. I have not heard him. I don't know who the person was that called me on that particular night, but I'm still waiting because I might, I don't know everything. And before I even came on and said those things, my son, who is in science, was challenging me at home,
Yeah.
about them. And so it's good. And I always say to people in the comment section, allow people to share their opinion. If you start to get
Yep.
disrespectful and start to threaten people, we had a guy, he was a BLP, but he starts to threaten people and what was going to happen to us when we go to the march and so on, and he's gone. Right? So the comment section is there. And they'll tell you all the time, I'll tell them, leave people alone. Do not become like what you don't like. When people do that to you, you don't like it.
Exactly.
So we're not going to do that. We should be able to share
I
our
want-
views, etc. Yes, go ahead.
Exactly. And exactly, this is, as I said, this is basically a community of information. So we welcome all information as well, and we're welcome to challenge it. It only makes us sharper. If the information is true, we are ready to say, well, yes, we put our hands up in the air and say, yeah, this is true. So at the end of the day, we welcome it all. We don't care what side you come from. It's not a partisan show. At the end of the day, if something is facts, we will state, yeah, it is facts. We've came here many times and we've commended those from the BLP side who've done good jobs. We've commended them and said, well done.
I've done
and
that.
and then when it turned out that we wasn't agreeing with somebody, we said, yeah, we definitely don't agree with this. So it's as simple as it is. We see it how we speak it, how we see it.
I've been on here, and Mr. Kirk Humphrey, I've said all the time that I think he just doesn't have all the resources,
Yeah.
to help people. I think that he has the training and the heart.
Yeah.
Whether he has the resources, I don't know. Sometimes I think he doesn't. And I saw him close to Parliament, and I shook his hand and I said, I believe that you have a good heart. You just don't have all the resources. I've done that.
Yeah.
The housing, even the whole project, I've said it's a good initiative. It is that the corruption went into the whole thing, got in
Exactly.
there and took away the $60 million,
Yeah.
and we are left hopeless and houseless, So we are here to be able to look at things critically. And this voice is very, very important. Our voice is important, and where we believe that we've made an error, I've always come on and say, once I know and somebody corrects me, I'm going to come on and I'm going to say, you know what, the last time I said this, or somebody on the show did this. And I usually take the responsibility. I don't wait on the panelists to come on to apologize. I come on and I do the apology myself, because I want to know when I go to sleep that I sleep well. And on that note, a caller came on and they didn't even say it totally, but they were trying to say that the PM does not have a lawyer degree, and not that they didn't take the bar. She didn't take the bar. And I just want to say, as far as the Marcia Weekes Show is concerned, the Prime Minister is a lawyer. She's an attorney, and she would have done all of her exams and all of the pass her bar. That what she's presenting about herself is what we believe in terms of her being a lawyer, and that's the kind of thing that we do on the show. We're going to come back and we're going to set it right. I don't even know why we're going down this path tonight before we jump into transport, but I think that is important. One more time before Dave plays the song, can you give a shout out to everybody again, Zico, and invite them down to the walk? We're calling it a solidarity walk tomorrow. Asking everybody to wear white. Jump right in, Zico.
Yes, once again, loyal opposition, we are outside tomorrow, 10 o'clock sharp. Get down there, Massey's car park. The reason why this solidarity walk is so important, once, because it's a unity walk. It's a unity walk. We are speaking for those who, once again, does not have the voice. Yes, Ronnie is the face, but we are speaking for many people, the countless people who've been victimized for their voices, who've been victimized for speaking truth to power, who've been victimized for a difference of opinion. Free speech is what we will continue to advocate for. Justice is what we will continue to advocate for. So people, if you believe in free speech and if you believe in justice, come on down tomorrow, 10 o'clock sharp. You don't want to miss it. Come and contribute one way or the other.
Thank you so much, Zico. And just to remind people that we are still wanting to pay for the truck. We do not have a main sponsor, and we don't want that. We don't want our voice to, nobody to take our voice from us. You know what I mean, Zico? The sponsorship goes, and so the marches end. No, it's all of us. Dave, myself, everybody put something CG, everybody put something in, right? And make it happen so that no one big sponsor pulls out and we don't have our marches anymore. All right, so we need everybody to come down tomorrow. We'll have water. We always take care of everybody with water, cold water for you on the streets tomorrow. And, and that's something somebody's donating. Yeah. And you can come and bring something so we can pay the truck tomorrow. Everybody's got to be paid at the end of the walk tomorrow. All right, every single one. Now, let me just say something to Diana Miller. I don't know if Diana is aware, but Diana, I want you to look at the screen if that is you. Your computer is making, some strange, just type in characters. Probably your hand is touching something. Please be aware, because we're going to have to delete them from the chat. And if it persists, then we are going to have to put you in timeout because it's blocking up the chat. Okay. So look into that for me, Diana. You probably are resting on the keyboard, or a child doing something there. Just be mindful of that, because we're going to, if it continues, we're going to first delete those, and then we're going to put you in timeout. All right? Okay, fine. All right. So Zico, Dave, go ahead, and then Heather. In the meantime, we're going to bring Heather in.
I write a tune about corruption and greed. A minister shaking down people in need. Next thing you know, my song get blocked. Say it too hot, might cause a shock. They tell me hush, go change the line, or face defamation, you cross the line. Now before I sing about truth or wrong, I need a lawyer to vet my song. Vet my verse, check every rhyme. It's like singing now become a crime. Say the truth but don't name. Else you're blacklisted from the fame. Radio say we can't play that, but the jamming soca about gun and bat. So who running the station show? Only the PM know. My partner sing one about tax and bribe. Next day he gone, cancel he tried. They say it's slander and liable talk. Now the poor fella frightened to walk, but dance all blasting every night, singing about murder and gunfight. Yet high so man must mind his tongue, like with a problem all along. Let me verse, check every rhyme. It's like singing now become a crime. Say the truth but don't name. Else you're blacklisted from the fame. Radio say we can't play that, but the jamming soca but gun and bat. So who running the station show? Only the PM know. The culture roots lie in we voice to talk the things and make real noise. But now them say tone it, don't be sweet, while injustice dance in the people's street. The pen might tear down, so they say, but they want to dull it every day. Freedom of speech, more like a loan that they pull back once truth get known. They tell me no calypso in Barbadians must learn. Before you sing, go get legal concern. Line by line, draft by draft. Watch lawyers edit out the craft. You can't call name, you can't say crook. Better you write a nursery book. But satire dead if we can mock. It's like the watchdog Lucy back. Let me verse, check every rhyme. It's like singing now become a crime. Say the truth but don't name. Else you're blacklisted from the fame. Radio say we can't play that, but they jamming soca about gun and bat. So running the station show, only the players back. So let we rise and defend the art. Censorship tearing the soul apart. If Calypso lose its sting and bite, who go shine the people plight? Not every song is meant for fet. Some just wake you up when things get wet. So I go sing loud till my breath done. Cause truth in rhythm can't be outrun. Let me verse, check every rhyme. It's like singing now become a crime. Say the truth but don't name. Else you're blacklisted from the fame. Radio say we can't play that, but they jamming soca but gun and bat. So who running the station show? Only the PM know.
Oh my goodness, this is one of my favorites, guys. You could tell. One of my favorites. We want to thank Michelle from the diaspora, who, you know, she wrote that. Michelle, oh, I love your work. Michelle, take a bow. Bossa say we outside. Bossa said we outside tomorrow, and we're inside right now, and we want to welcome Heather. Hello, Heather Cole.
Hi.
Hi, Heather. Is it cold in New York right now?
It is cold. It is cold. Very cold.
You look cold. You look cold. Well, I don't think Zico has ever been on the show with you before, but Zico,
No.
this is Heather Cole, and she's one of the original
Nice to meet you.
panelists, and it's great to
Nice
have
to meet you, Heather.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, you know what, guys, we are going to. I know, Heather, you have something to say about Ronnie. I see you posting, so I'm going to just let you do that, and then we go straight into the transport board.
Okay. I think that all Barbadians should be in solidarity with Ronnie, because today it is me, tomorrow it is you. So if we let the government get away with this, because our radio station impacts the entire country, and if they dismiss one of the voices from the radio station, and based on what I hear, he is actually the most proliferant program manager that the station has, and if he is dismissed without a thought, what else won't the government or whoever do? So the people must have a recourse. So they must take all the action that they can. They can use their voice, they can march, and they can boycott the shows on VOB. It's saying the people in Barbados take definitive action. This is the only way that we get things done. So what you have to use, like the old people say, first you use what you have in your hand. Those are three things that they have in their hand. Their voices, they don't have to listen. They can protest and march, and they can spread the word. Let people who don't know what is happening. So I am in solidarity with Ronnie tonight. If I were there, I would go out and march.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Cole, Heather Cole. That's Heather Cole, who is in the diaspora. She is in cold New York right now. Cold on
It's a cold week.
A cold week. Oh my goodness. And I can't. I want to get into transportation, but Zico, I have to say thank you again to the people in the diaspora. Honestly, you, even when I don't hear you, and when you're not, you're not on the show, I see your post, I see the boldness that you have. And I just want to tell you something that is infectious, it's catching, it encourages me, and so I want to thank everybody out there, New York, you're in Canada, wherever in the US you are, where in the UK, please keep doing what you're doing. We need your energy here. Okay. Bossa said
Definitely.
we're outside. That's what Bossa said. All right.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So let's jump right into this transport board, the push to privatize Barbados' transport board. And let's just give the key points of this proposition. And this document it is said the document was leaked. I don't know. They said it was a leaked Ministry of Transport and Works letter that was dated November 7th. And the letter was sent to the Barbados Workers Union. I don't know if it was leaked. Was it leaked by whom? I don't know. And it outlines the government's full divestment of the Barbados Transport Board and the creation of a new Barbados Mass Trans Authority. So basically what the letter does, it confirmed in writing that privatization is no longer speculation. But it seems like this is a government approved plan. Is that where it's going? And it says that all workers will be severed, workers to become bus owners, and they're going to transfer 121 electric buses, to workers. There's a priority sale. I'm just picking up the main points. Government, they're saying, will still have a bit of control. Government subsidies still continue. The whole thing not making sense. Meeting with the BWU is set, and the takeaway for the public really is what we want to go into that a bit tonight. What is it what should we make of this letter that is going around on social media? So let me turn to my panel at this time, and I'll go straight to Zico. Zico, I don't know if you saw this allegedly leaked letter, supposed to be leaked letter. What are your thoughts on this, Zico?
Yes, I saw it. I didn't give it much attention. But let's just say if it's true. I guess it solves a lot of problems for the government. In terms of not holding the blame, for the lack of buses, and trying and make, and even the maintenance of the buses as well. I think they've been trying to shift this on the private sector for quite a while. So this is no surprise. This is no surprise to me at all. My only thing is how much control does the government have in terms of the regulations, in terms of how much bus fare is going to be. Will there be a jump in bus fare going forward? How much control in terms of where the buses go and where it doesn't? So that's just my questions where it's concerned. The pros is that it may improve the bus system. It may improve in terms of people getting more buses. It may improve the maintenance of the buses. It may improve the people deciding, you know what, we found a way to improve the system. It can also be less upon the taxpayers' money to make sure that the buses are up and running. So if it helps in that particular area, I'm all for it. But then the cons now is that with private sector, how much control does the government really does have in terms of they saying, you know what, this is what we're gonna do. This is how much bus fare is gonna be now. This is we can decide to go up any popular routes. How much control do they really have? So that is my question where it's concerned. The pros and cons basically that I see so far.
Yes, thank you so much, Zico. Heather, what are your thoughts on what you read today? There are lots of stuff on social media. What are your thoughts on this?
I have quite a few thoughts on the whole issue of the divestment of the Transport Board. Number one, social services. Any government, and throughout the Eastern Caribbean, every government in the Eastern Caribbean delivers basic social services to these islands, regardless of where you are, whatever island it is that you are in. And if you look at the impact of social services in any country in the world, most likely government is responsible for water. That is the most important one. And after that, transportation. And if you look at Barbadian society, we know that there are upper class people who do not catch the buses. There are middle class people who some may occasionally catch the bus, but then the bulk of the population, which is the lower classes, depend on public transportation to get to school, to work, and to play, right? And if the government chooses to divest public transportation, more likely than not, the entity is going to become profit-driven. Whoever takes over will be looking to make a profit. All of government's money is pooled into the pool that we call the taxpayer funds. So there's always allocations for all of the social services, and water is one of them. So if transportation is one of them. If transportation does not make a profit, it is part of the pool where people's money goes towards. But if a private entity takes over, their sole motive will be profit driven. It will be to make a profit. So if you have an entity now that is not making a profit, and a public entity that is not making a profit, and a private one takes over, their sole motive will be to make a profit. So regardless of what the bus fares are now, the prices will rise. No if nor no buts. That's the only thing that is going to happen. And to continue, if we look at the social impact of private transportation in Barbados, let's go no further than taking a look at the minibus transportation. And that has been to the detriment of this. It has had a detrimental impact on the society in Barbados. If we look at the impact that it has had on school children for the past 30 years or more, I would say, in my opinion, that has led to a general decline in society. The buses, the music, and so on. And if the government can't control the minibus operation, and they are private sector, tell me if they divest the public transportation that they have now, I think that the impact that it will have is make what is bad now completely worse, because there will be more people in more transport. Let's say the buses and the minibuses will be in competition, and the competition is going to drive the same behavior. I don't see anything positive about it. And as I said, I expect it to cause bus fares to rise based on it being a profit-driven motive, and it will have a negative impact on society. And if we look now, the minibuses and the minivans, they ply their trade on the most highly populated areas. They hardly do the country. What is going to happen when we bring in another sector who ply the country and they are not being able to make a profit on the routes that they apply? What are they going to do? Most likely they're going to opt to travel the most densely populated areas as well. And also I want us to take into consideration if this divestment comes with the land and the terminals on which the current buses usually stay. Does it come with that? What about maintenance? Who is going to be responsible for maintenance of these vehicles? Also, I would like to know if the government has repaid the loans that they used to purchase these buses. And when it comes to electric buses, I am still not convinced, right, that these are the best buses for Barbados. I don't think so.
Yeah, why is that? Why are you not convinced
Burst
about that?
into flames frequently. A lot of things go wrong. It is to me, it may be as though they're not built for the climate. And for example, something can happen and the whole bus shut down and people can't get out. Things like that are worrisome.
Yes.
Also, another thing that concerns me is that recently, I think it's about a year and a half or so ago now, that the government supposedly divested the sugar industry and left the present owners, what we could say, in Potter. I wonder if this is where this divestment of the transport board is also headed.
Can you just give us a summary if you can? I know Miss McLean, this is a pet peeve of Miss McLean, and I know when she comes on Sunday, she's going to go a bit into that for us to compare what happened with the workers in the sugar industry. Not to compare, but to basically ask the question: will that be the same treatment that these in the transport industry are going to receive? So give us a summary, if you can, of what happened with the sugar industry.
All right. Basically, in my opinion, the government was supposed to divest the sugar industry, and I don't recall the name of the union or the name of the person. You would know him probably better than I do. But they
a colonel, somebody. I
yes,
get it.
yes,
Yeah.
right. So they had a co-op type arrangement, and it seems to be, in my opinion, the government was supposed to hand over everything to them, and to this day they have not. Ms. McLean would be in a better position to be more explanatory of what happened, but it left them holding the bag. They have gotten nothing out of the arrangement. So technically, they don't own the sugar industry or are part of the sugar industry as they were supposed to. But it has not happened. All the government was given was excuses. And what should have occurred has not occurred. So I am not confident about this move to divest the transport board. To me, it makes absolutely no sense. Yeah. It is to the detriment of society, and especially if it's going to cause prices to rise. And then we have to wonder if the bus drivers and the people who work at the transport board cannot afford this. Is this an excuse to sell it to somebody, another entity? Let's put it that way, to sell it to another entity.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much, Ms. Cole. And those of you who, if you're just joining, we have on the show Zika John, who is a youth, what we call community worker. That's what we put it, Zico. And he's also an entrepreneur. And we have Miss Heather Cole from the diocese. She's a trained economist. And we're happy to have them and to have diverse views. Zico would have shared with us some of the pros of it, and I think as I look at it, Zico, it is very possible if it's done properly that it could benefit the workers, because what is being said. Let me just talk a little bit about this. What are the key points that this government is proposing? Right, and one is like the workers will become bus owners. Government wants to push retrench workers because the idea is that all workers will be severed. All right, all the workers, every transport board worker will be severed, and discussions to follow on severance packages. This means that over 800 plus livelihoods will be disrupted. So let's hold that right there, viewers. panelists, and think about that. Over 800 plus livelihoods will be disrupted. Now, what the government is proposing, which could be good if it's done properly, it's saying that the government wants to push these retrenched workers now into becoming owners or operators of buses. They could operating the cleaning, the washing, the security companies. Um, they, I guess, they shift from government workers, some ordinary government workers, to owners, is what they're saying. Now, where we are a little doubtful. It's the transition. If it is to go anywhere, Zico, like what happened with the sugar workers, all right? Then, because people like Miss McLean, I mean, she loved the idea with the sugar industry, where it would be divested and the workers would become owners. They started a co-op. People were excited about it until it's being alleged the government did not carry out their part of the bargain. Right? They dropped the ball. They took the people to one place and then they left. And the thinking panelists and viewers is that the government wasn't really serious. They wanted the workers, wanted it to fall through for the workers because they knew the workers didn't have the money, so that their friends and certain people would be able to come in and swoop in and say, oh, it didn't work. Well, we would buy it.
Yes.
And so here we have a good idea with the sugar industry. Went sour. When I tell you it has gone sour, it has gone sour. And that's a pet peeve I said of Miss McLean, and we would love for her to come on and to do it. So government, it's no wonder a good idea like this, people are like, should we believe you? Is this going to happen again? Zico, your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, for me, I agree with you in terms of the transition. How is it going to be done? I just say how the government what's the government involvement in terms of the transition afterwards? Is it going to be heavy involvement? Is it just going to be a cap in terms of bus fare? Is it just going to be based on who could drive which routes? So it won't be too much saturation in certain areas. So for me, but yes, it will introduce to the hustle culture that I believe that is at the detriment of these PSVs. So for me, it's just a transition of it. I'm not totally against the idea because they can see also how it can work. In terms of sometimes, like for instance, I don't believe that the industry is booming in a way that it helps us, the taxpayers' dollar. I believe that we throwing our money down a hole. I believe there's too many losses in terms of the transport board. So for me, I just looking to see how was the involvement. What is the involvement? I think it could be a little different than sugar. The reason why I think it could be a little different than the sugarcane industry is because it's an industry that if someone gives you and you own out a minibus, I believe the onus is on you to make sure the minibus is operational. And making sure it's on the road and what's not. I think when it comes to the government, the priority is not that much forced because it's government. But if you own the transport board bus, I can see you more likely trying to get it on the road and running and working so you can make some money. Also, too, in terms of the workers who you say would be going home, who will be getting their severance packages. I think for some of them is a blessing. For some of them is a blessing. Some of them may turn around and use that same to probably get a loan for the bus or whatever the case may be, or I don't know how they're going to do the transition in terms of making them from operators to owners, but it can be a beautiful thing for them as well. Obviously, if it's 800 going home, eventually somebody still have to work the buses. So
that's what I'm saying.
It's still a level of people. Yeah. So I just say it can be a good thing, but I can also see where it can fall down. I just think it needs to be a little clear in terms of the responsibilities of the government, the responsibilities of the owners. Is it just going to be given to one, a monopoly, a particular person that's owning the majority of the transport board, or is it going to be equal slice of the pies given to the Bajan citizen? Because it would hurt me to know that it is given this over to an overseas entity to operate the whole service, because then for sure we know for sure that we're selling out ourselves. But if it's
Yeah.
in a way that we giving it to the locals and saying, you know what, here is a piece, or if you're capping it and saying only a certain amount of buses can be given to a particular person, that'll be nice as well. Because for those who have been for certain companies overseas and what's not, this is a perfect investment. If you control the transport sector, you got it. And most likely you will like to price up the price from the bus fare. So if you capping it off and saying you can only own 3 buses maximum, that would be good as well too. That means that every single person will be able to get a equal piece of the pie. So hopefully, if that is the direction that they go, hopefully is that probably for the next 10 to 15 years, bus fare is not allowed to go up. To ensure that there's no disruption in terms of people saying, well, how we can get from here today? Can't afford bus fare. You got 4 children. What am I going to do and what's not? The reason we say about 10 to 15 years, because probably the industry, inflation, it probably will be possible that the money will have to go eventually. But I think for now, the transition can be smooth until more information comes out that says that this is the involvement from the government. This is the involvement that the owners will be playing. The operators, those who are leaving the transport board, who have been driving the buses, now have first choice or first pick, to option on these buses as well. If they want to hand in their severance for the buses, where they could do a rent to own for those who are leaving the sector, or those who are being sent home, if they do a rent to own, you pay a certain amount, and then you give it back to us. That would be a beautiful idea for ownership and entrepreneurship in Barbados.
Yeah. Now, thank you, Zico. I see in the comment section that there are some people. I think people would love to. There are some people who want to believe it, and I see the possibility of it. I see the possibility. If, as I said earlier, if it's that transition, if it's done properly, thought out, and it's not something like the sugar industry, then it's possible. But then you brought up a good point there, Zico, and I'd love Heather to jump in soon on this. There are 800 plus workers, so it means that we're not going to have that everybody will be a bus owner. So then people are going to still be having to find work. So for some people, they're seeing this as a mass layoff that is disguised as enfranchisement, where they say, okay, we'll lay you off, but you know what, you're gonna get an opportunity to become an owner. And you're thinking, Zico, that they could probably use some of the severance money to save up to buy the buses. I don't know what the value of that is, in relation to buses. I haven't, price of bus, etc. I don't know. But Heather, in your discussion, you talked about social services, right? And as somebody who is from Jamaica, I remember when we had public transportation in Jamaica that was, I think it was called JOS buses, or I can't remember, I think it's JOS buses. And I used to go to school on those buses, and then they privatized everything, right? And what happened was, eventually the government had to step back in, right? Because there were some of the rural areas, the rural commuters, who did not get buses because didn't have any transportation, because it is privatized, and therefore, as Zico said, the hustling happens, right? Because it's a business.
Yes.
And so then they choose the better routes. So one wonders, as much as it could be a good idea, but then what is going to happen because of the hustle? Will the hustle cause the people in St. Lucie, for example, St. George and St. Andrew, may suffer, under the private operators? Do you think that might be a possibility?
Exactly, it will happen. Before I even go there, I want to mention something else. I wanted to look at, to examine the possibility of these bus drivers being able to own or to purchase the buses first they have to have money, and they most likely they will not have money to buy a bus. So if not, they have to get a loan, right?
Mhm.
Would the bank give them a loan? Would the government have a facility set up to assist these people with getting loans? I know there's the Enterprise Growth Fund, but I don't know if that extends to things like these. That I don't know. And also, to do this this change of transport mode, actually the government is going from a system of centralization of transportation to one of total decentralization. And to me, that you must examine the total impact of this to find out if it is feasible, not just jump ahead and say that they are going to create this mass transit entity, this new entity. Has the government done any studies to show the public that this will work? That is, to me, that is the starting point. And in addition to this, right, I also want to talk about pensioners and school children.
Mhm.
I think the school children are free. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, if you're going to school,
Okay, yes.
your uniform, then you are free. Yeah.
Okay, and the pensioners. So
Yes,
these two groups currently travel free on the transport board buses. What is going to happen when these two categories of persons attempt to enter private transportation? Will it be free as well? Is the government going to disadvantage two sectors of the population with this decentralization? And also, I want everybody to think about this whole concept of mass transit, right? And if you think about it, technically, you can't just decentralize a system and expect it to work. First, I said that you would have to do a study, but more importantly, you have to come up with the best vision for mass transit in Barbados, right?
Say that
And
again. Say that again, Miss Cole. I think that is even that what you just said there is just so important. What is the vision for mass
Right.
transportation?
What is the vision?
Say that again.
Right. I want to know what the vision is for mass transit. How can you say that you want to create this Barbados mass transit entity and start by decentralizing buses, the bus system? It doesn't make any sense. You first would have to come up with the vision or the concept of what you want for this mass transportation in Barbados to look like 10, 15 years down the road. First of all, the roads are too congested, right? The government should provide a range of modes of transportation for a mass transit or for creation of mass transit for New Barbados. That is not being done. They have thrown something at you to decentralize, to send home the transport board workers. Basically, that is what they're doing. So we need to start at some place where the greater impact will be felt, not to the detriment of the present workers. So, for example, we should have a study. We should look to examine the road structures in Barbados to see how we could improve that, what types of transportation we would need for the future. Since the roads are so densely, people don't get to work early in Barbados now unless they leave very early. I saw on Facebook could have been about 2 weeks ago, this woman, and she had a Guyanese accent, and she was saying she is in 6 roads. She's trying to get to work. That this is she had said the time, I think it was after 7 or so. And it's the same thing every morning. The traffic ain't moving. You can't get nowhere. So how can the government be instituting a mass transit entity and not examine a overall picture of what Barbados should look like or the types of transportation that it should have? For me, right, what I think should happen is I don't think that, since our roads have traditionally been small, very narrow, and the road system in Barbados has developed from cane, what you call them? Cane roads or cane cart roads or something like that, that the slaves used to drive the carts on to get the sugar to plantations and so on, or to Bridgetown. That is why they have the saying that all roads leads to Bridgetown. So whatever new transport system, it should be in thinking in terms of mass transportation. We can't have the same thing on these little roads, the same roads, and everybody in traffic, 15 and 10 buses, one behind the other, and everybody got a car now, the same thing, and everybody on the same road trying to get to work, and work opening the same time and things like that. All of these things must be taken into consideration. We can think about having a tram line from the airport that runs through the center of the country and have various, this is just an example, various areas, various areas that the tram or the train or whatever it is will stop. People disembark and embark and go on to smaller modes of transportation to get wherever they wish to go. We need to make it user-friendly. And so that all of the traffic will not be piled up on these roads that currently exist. We can utilize the sea as part of mass transit. So those are two areas that I would like to see covered. Or we can additionally have overheads on the current road structure. So that is what I would say. And to go back to your point, yes, people from the country will be disadvantaged. There is no doubt about that. Nobody goes into business to not make a profit. If they are in it for a loss, if they know there'll be a loss, they're not going. So nobody will wish to go to the areas where the majority of the population won't be, the roads longer, meaning they have to spend more gas and make less money. They're not going to do it.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. You know, one of the things that we touched on tonight was the fact that there's some basic services. Those of you wondering what happened to Zico, we're trying to figure out as well. Zico's internet, he was spinning, and then he dropped out twice. I know that Zico is going to try to get back in, but let's talk about this as a family, because I think that this is important, and I want to go to some of the comments in the comment section as well. Heather, you can read some of them as well.
Okay.
And put up. But one of the things that we have to think about is the basic services, social services that a government is supposed to be providing for its citizens.
Yes.
And somebody might say, well, you know, we need to wean the people off of that. Right? That's sometimes is a thinking, Heather, that people want too much of the government. Anybody out there believe that? People want too much of the government. That's what it said. But then if you think of Barbados' situation, this is the reality. Over the last 7 years, Heather and viewers, we have been taxed more than any other time in the history of Barbados. That's a fact. They say on here that we tell lies, but that's a fact. Let me just read some of the taxes, and we need to discuss that tonight, because we are now seeking to divest transportation, and I tell you, very soon you're going to hear water. What they're going to do the same thing with water and healthcare. You can definitely see it. It's coming. I mean, we've been saying that on the show. I've been saying right now, this feels like where Jamaica was late 70s, early 80s. The country is changing. Okay? Now, listen. Income tax. Now, we have the national insurance, the NIS, that everybody pay out. There's a value added tax, the VAT. Right? We have the national social responsibility levy. Just to remind you, excise taxes, import duties, we have tariffs, right? Custom duties, stamp duty, land tax, we have the property tax, tourism levy, hotel tax, right? And we also have a health levy, remember? It's just so many.
So
Yeah.
you have to wonder where your tax dollars are going if the government is going to divest all of these things.
If the
What they doing
government,
with the money?
exactly. So this is what I'm saying, that really we need to say to the government, not so fast. We need a proper accounting of the tax. What you do with all these taxes? Why are
Exactly.
we be burdened? We feel like we are donkeys then. We are overburdened by by the taxes. The tax burden feels heavy,
It
right?
does.
When you combine the income tax, the VAT, the import duties, everything. It's like a heavy burden. And when you're making a certain amount of money, do you know that sometimes more than 50% of your salary is taxed in this
Right. It
country?
is tax, yes.
This is our reality here. So when you're now coming to tell us that you're going to divest the public transportation and you're putting it into private hands, we need to ask the government something. We need to say, so hold a minute. What have you been doing with the taxation, with the taxes you've been collecting? Can we get an account of that? And that is what we're not getting.
Exactly,
We're
yes.
not getting an account of it.
Mhm.
And, we're hearing about the IMF, right? And you know what they say? What the IMF wants is what the IMF is going to get, right?
But I thought the IMF program was finished. Is there a new one?
No, but we owe them. We owe them. All right. And what this is saying is that based on what I'm seeing, some of what the PM has said now and in the past, right, is that the IMF is also making some demands from us.
Really?
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we have to get ready, right? Is this part of the IMF restructuring? Is this at the the request of the IMF?
But do you remember recently the governor of the central bank was speaking about another BERT program? Could this be part of it? I don't know.
It's possible.
I
It's
don't know.
possible. But they're saying they want to tighten their, whatever reason that they're giving. One person is saying here that the servicing the buses, it's very expensive, and is that why the government wants to get rid of them?
That may very well be it. Why buy those buses from China? Why? I can't maintain them.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's read some of the comments that's here, and we need to go back to the IMF, the whole IMF connection there, to what is going on. But some of the comments here, Hurricane is saying the government is under IMF orders, so Beijing can or could or should or would till the cows come home. That's the reality. Once you invite them, they are here. And this government, before the election, before they got into power, they said that they have been meeting with the IMF. You think the IMF is going to just come and they're going to give you money and they're going to all of that, and they're not going to ask you or request certain things to be done? Why you think that people have to work, until they're 67 in Barbados? All of that is coming under the IMF restructuring. All of that it's aligned to the IMF restructuring. And I believe it's just a matter of time, as they did in Jamaica, that we're going to see that the hospital, the healthcare is going to be privatized. I believe that. That is my opinion, just based on what we see is happening. Somebody says here, Stephen Strickland is saying we're now paying customs duty on the freight cost added to the cost of items on personal effects. with the barrels. So
Wow.
they're finding ways. Zico, while you dropped out, we're happy to have you back. While you dropped out, we were talking about the fact that there are certain basic social services that the government should be providing for the citizens, especially since we are most we've been taxed the most in the history of Barbados, right?
Correct.
And so we're reading some of the comments here, and Stephen Strickland is saying we're now paying customs duty on freight costs added to the cost of items on personal effects. Listen, it's just they're
But
just taxing. Yeah.
if there's one thing I want to add to remind the people also to right, there were 30 new electric buses which was donated to Barbados from the Republic of China. All right. Also to in the Caribbean, we have the most electric buses within the Caribbean. I think the number is like 89 within the Caribbean as well. For them, I don't think that they have, as I say, I always believe that they always wanted to pass this on to the public sector. I don't believe that this was a sector they wanted to be in control of. It's very taxing upon them to maintain buses, to operate it, and at the end of the day, I don't believe it's that profitable for them. So it's easier to try to ship it off on somebody else. I do believe that. And that's the reality of it. As I say once again, I will continue to say, but looking at the history, they haven't done a good job in terms of the transition of certain sectors within Barbados. For sure, they're guilty of many sectors that had dropped the ball in terms of making sure that still, yes, that we could benefit from it. So hopefully, as I say, hopefully once again, and this is with my fingers crossed, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, right? To say that if that certain things is in place, that these drivers can be owners and be new entrepreneurs in terms of having a certain amount of buses allocated to them. I would love that. Rent to own, I would love that. But also to the needs to have a heavy hand in terms of saying, you know what? You cannot up the bus fare. Our pensioners must be still be able to ride the buses. Certain things must be in place. If certain things are in place, then for sure I am on board. But otherwise, if not, I will have to raise the eyebrows and say, you know what? I don't think y'all doing a good job where this is concerned. I think this was a horrible rollout. I don't think y'all look into it. I think this was a self in terms of not looking and saying, you know what, this can really impact the industry. So yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Heather, and then I have to tell you all something about those buses. And thank you, Zico, for correcting us. They told us, Heather, that the buses, well, the 30 of those buses, electric buses, were donated by the Chinese, and they bought the others.
Okay.
Right? Yes, go ahead.
What I wanted to say that Zico is optimistic, but I am not optimistic because the two things can't go hand in hand. You cannot want to have a profitable entity and be responsible for the provision of social services. That is not the way it is meant to happen. It's either one or the other. And the role of the government is to provide social services for the people of Barbados, transportation being one of them, from it was the 60s or whenever it was. It has been with us for a while. To change that model now is to the detriment of any government who wishes to run Barbados. Nobody is going to support it. Watch and see, since that this has been made public, they may walk it back, because as the way I see it, no right-thinking person is going to support any government in this area. This is the way people get to work to make money. A lot of the people in the country don't have transportation. They don't have a way to get to work. They're not going to support this. Basically, that is my input in this area. I think you're being too optimistic.
I think though in terms of with Zico, I mean, I can understand Zico is an entrepreneur, and I can see the entrepreneurial possibility in it. And as I said, it's about how the transition is done. And it's possible, but because
History.
the history, is what we have to look at. That once again, it's a noble idea.
Yeah, I don't disagree. As I said, in terms of Heather and everybody, I don't disagree with anything y'all looking at. But I want to give y'all the other side of the coin, where that it also could work if certain things was implemented.
I
Personally,
agree.
for me, I don't think so. But I have to be optimistic to give them the benefit of the doubt to say, you
Yes.
know what, if this is the idea y'all want to come with, these certain things must be put in place. I don't believe so. I have zero hope. But I want to give another side to look and say, you know
And-
what?
Right.
It's possible.
Yeah.
No, it's not just give another side, but with proper governance. And if
Yeah.
they're going to put, still keep, it needs to be, to me, what needs to happen is what we have right now. We need to strengthen what we have right now.
Yes.
Exactly.
I
yes.
think what we have right now is the ideal situation. We need to go back, look at the laws that we have for the PSVs, look at what we, and really sit down, do as Heather is saying, do a real feasibility study, understand what it is that we have, and come up with a vision. What is our vision? I love that, Heather. What is our vision? If we sit down, Zeke, and say, well, if we are going to change transportation in Barbados, what is the vision for mass transportation? Considering our roads, considering the demographic, considering all of that. What's the vision for mass transportation? Mass transit. And when you have done that, but don't try to pass off your responsibility, and you are not taking less taxes from us. The taxes, we have been overtaxed more than anybody else, any other. This government, they have found a tax on everything. They tax the sugar, they tax the salt. I mean, they tax everything. You understand? And we're not seeing anything from it. Somebody mentioned, Heather, these Chinese buses, and I want to put this out there and then throw it out for discussion. Do you all know that in some countries like UK, Norway, and Denmark are investigating these Chinese buses? Do you
Right.
know that?
No.
Guys, did you know that? Zico, did you know that?
No.
Someone sent it to me and I went to look at it myself. Norway, UK, Norway, and Denmark, they have some of these Chinese manufactured buses. Some of it was donated and some of it that they bought. Bajans, listen up. Because they love to say we're telling lies. And all they do is that we are children of Barrow and we can read. Okay? Now, the concerns arose after Norway found its buses could theoretically be remotely controlled and shut down, leading them to take immediate security measures. Right? What they're talking about is remote access. They said this access, while used for legitimate purposes like software updates and diagnostics, could be exploited to remotely deactivate the entire fleet. Okay?
Uh-huh.
After discovering this in Norway, this potential vulnerability, the Norwegian Public Transport Authority removed the SIM cards from its buses, from the Chinese buses, to block remote interference. Though this also prevents important software updates, which means that they're going to have some problems on the road, right?
Yep.
And so this is something that we don't know. What we have to find out is if we have the same model Chinese buses. But I know that for a fact that the UK, Norway, and Denmark, they are leading some investigation. In fact, it says November 6, 2025, says Chinese buses in Norway that they could be halted right? And you know, there are concerns there that yeah, Danish authorities, there's some security problems there with the buses. David, if you can go ahead and play what you have on the screen, and then Heather and Zico in that order will jump in. Go ahead, Dave.
One single click from China could shut down more than 800 electric buses in Norway. Oslo ran tests and found something chilling. The electric buses from Chinese manufacturer Yutong can be remotely accessed and even stopped from China. These buses use SIM cards connecting them to Chinese networks. This feature is meant for software updates but can be used as gateway for hackers. Norway has over 2,300 electric buses. Of those, 1,350 were made in China and 850 by Yutong. The company controls over 30% of the Chinese bus market and sells to more than 30 countries worldwide, with a strong focus on expanding its global footprint. Norwegian transport authorities are now working on a solution, but the situation highlights a broader challenge: how to secure critical infrastructure in a world where technology and geopolitics are increasingly intertwined. One single click from China could
Play it again, Dave. Let it loop. Let it loop. Thank you.
One single click from China could shut down more than 800 electric buses in Norway. Oslo ran tests and found something chilling. The electric buses from Chinese manufacturer Yutong can be remotely accessed and even stopped from China. These buses use SIM cards connecting them to Chinese networks. This feature is meant for software updates but can be used as gateway for hackers. Norway has over 2,300 electric buses. Of those, 1,350 were made in China and 850 by Yutong. The company controls over 30% of the Chinese bus market and sells to more than 30 countries worldwide, with a strong focus on expanding its global footprint. Norwegian transport authorities are now working on a solution, but the situation highlights a broader challenge: how to secure critical infrastructure in a world where technology and geopolitics are increasingly intertwined. One single click from China could shut down.
Now, we are bringing this to you, and what I want to say is that I know the authorities that they watch the show, and people are sending this to me. I brought it to you because people want to know, and we don't know if these are the same type of electric buses that we've gotten from China. And so what we're doing is putting this out as a question: will we have the same problem? Have we done the study? Have we done the research? Zico and Heather, that's a question that I'm asking. Have we done the research to know whether these buses are also remotely controlled? Can China shut down the buses in that are in Barbados? The UK did their homework. Norway did their homework. Denmark did their homework. Did Barbados do their homework? Right?
I don't think
So,
so.
you know, go ahead, Heather.
I don't think so, because based on what we know how the government operates, they usually go ahead first. The people bring something to the forefront, and then the government tracks back. So they never do research. They don't do it. They don't do it. And in addition, to me, anything that comes from China, you have to be very careful with. Even your phone spies
I
on you.
agree. I agree with you.
Even your cell phones, and this could be this could be a modern method of control. You never know. It can very well be.
We don't know, and as I said, authorities, Zico, they watch those from the government who watch the show. Can you tell us if you've done the necessary research to find out UK did it? I'm repeating, the Danish people, they did it. Norwegians did it. Have we done it, and are we planning to do such research? Over to you, Zico.
Yes, I think the bigger question is, even if they did know, but they refused it at the end of the day, as they continue to say that the transport board has been operating at a loss for quite a couple of years and taxpayers have been subsidizing for it. So even if somebody was planning to donate 30 buses and you know for sure that there was a safety factor where it could have been compromised, would you have turned it back and say, no, we're going to look for a different route? I don't think this government probably would. I think they would have said, we in the war with China, wherever the case is, wherever hopper, send the buses. Yeah, people want buses, bring the buses. I think that's the reality of it, you know. So even if they did or didn't, I don't think it would have made much of a difference. I think they would have still bring the buses.
Yeah. Let's read some of the comments here. And as I said, those from the government, you're watching, look at the comments. So Hurricane Writer said, Heather, the cybersecurity of Barbados is not up to scratch. Government has been hacked many times. Cami says the government is at a loss on how to run the country. Bejan Bay said China is working the way through the Caribbean to take over the Western Hemisphere. I'm going to bring you something on that relating to these buses, which would be just my opinion, right? Okay, somebody else talking about hacking. Yes, somebody talking again. No, if this is what is happening, if it is true, will it be connected to the digital ID? We know what's happening in China, where the control is there with the ID, and we have to talk about these things and ask the questions. We're asking questions. We're not pushing controversy. What do they call it again? Theories, right? Conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy theories.
We're asking questions because we saw what happened in UK. We can read. We saw what happened in UK, what happened in Norway, and what happened in Denmark. Okay, so but Heather, you were making a point before. I'm going to throw something up there. Okay, before we get back. Go ahead, Heather.
All right, this is an aside. You remember President Trump was granted a plane from, I think it is Qatar.
Yes.
And the military had to debug that plane. They had to wipe it.
Yep.
So you can never be too careful.
You remember Caswell spoke about everybody in, they gave these, what was it, laptop or there was some device. He was saying that they gave, Mr. Franklin was saying that they gave to everybody, in parliament, all the senators, everybody got something. And, his son took it and said, Daddy, don't use that. That's compromised, there's some things, you need to be careful with it. And it makes me wonder about these buses and China. Could it be just a thought? I am throwing this out there now. Nothing that I've researched, but it just crossed my mind, Zico. And the reason it crossed my mind, I remember when Jamaica said that they were going to divest the sugar industry. Right? It didn't work. It fell through. And do you know who came in and scooped it up?
The Chinese.
The Chinese, Zico and viewers. Mm-hmm. The Chinese came in. You can go and research it. We did it on the show, myself and Kimar and Caswell. The Chinese in Jamaica came in and swooped up the sugar industry. And one has to wonder is that what's going to happen to the sugar industry? Because we showed you on the show how close China was up. We need to do that show again. Go back over that research about China and the sugar industry in Barbados. Now, China has donated these buses. Here's my question. This you can call this conspiracy theory. Is nothing I have researched, but I must ask you a question. Could it be that if they they say they're going to divest and the workers are going to buy buses, these 800 workers, and if it doesn't work, is it a setup, right? Mm-hmm. For China to come in and to then be running our transportation system in Barbados? I am just throwing that out there. I'm just putting that. It's in my head and I'm just laying it there.
I would not be surprised.
I am telling you, and especially with this whole thing of it being, the Wi-Fi on all the buses, and we're so happy we can go on those buses and we can Wi-Fi and, all of those things. So it's just something to think about. Really, let me read some of the comments. Some noise coming through on somebody's. Let me see whose is it. It could be, yeah. It says, Sonia says, when you get anything for free, look that gift horse in the mouth. Okay, oh, look that gift horse in the mouth, right? Who says, I often wonder what would happen if these electric buses malfunction while traveling on the road and the doors locked down. What safety measures are in place for persons to get out of or get out safely or otherwise, right? Somebody says, one of the things I hated to see was just the buses, Zico, with the Chinese language on it. I wasn't born here, but I'm very patriotic to Barbados, and I just hate the fact that I'm seeing Chinese writing on the buses.
The reality of it is that China is the new superpower. It's not America anymore. China run things right now. So prepare, people. Don't be naive. Prepare to see a lot more Chinese products being introduced into Barbados. Prepare to see a lot of Chinese donations into Barbados, in terms of even the relations between China and Barbados as well. So prepare for it, people. Don't be surprised. And we can see a lot more Chinese versions. So brush up on your Chinese people.
Listen, Andrea, I want to read some of their comments. If you're seeing any good ones, I want to put up too, guys. Go ahead. Andrea Critchlow said they've been hacked, meaning the government. Yes, but they still haven't learned their lessons, still trying to get into everything, and they're not prepared for it. That's the thing. I was trying to fill out the form today, this week for NCC, and it's good again. Let's commend the government for wanting to for us to digitize, so we don't have to go all the way up to the NCC to fill out a form, right? That's good, right, Zico? That's a good thing.
Definitely. And the reality of it is that that's the direction that the whole world turning. I know some people don't like the idea of it, but once again, do not be surprised. That's the direction that the world
That's
heading.
the world is going. But the problem is that I ended up having to go up to NCC because it didn't go. It went nowhere. I sat there and I tried and I tried and I tried, and I called, and she said, a lovely lady, she said, it happens. I had to leave St. Philip to go there. You see what I'm saying? So we are trying, and we want to do all these things, but we don't have the necessary structures are not in place. The infrastructure, that's the correct word, not in place. And those are some of the challenges, Zico and Heather and viewers, that I have with a lot of some of these good plans that they have. VR said Chinese will run the buses, she believes. I don't know. I'm wondering. Right?
And that's my biggest thing right there right now. If you're gonna give it to an overseas entity, I don't like that idea. I don't like that idea at all. I'm totally against it if that's where they're looking to go.
Right. But right. Somebody said here the Caribbean was a peaceful zone when we were managing our own resources and living within our means. Carol, come to the front of the class. From the time China and other international organizations come visiting, it is not the same. And really and truly, we don't want to get into the war thing, but again, it's my view. It's not about the trafficking, narco trafficking. It's not about oil. It's about control of the Western Hemisphere. And can you imagine if this outside entity is in charge of your transportation system?
But Marcia, this is what we was been discussing for quite a while now. The reality of it is this: anytime you go to borrow money, there will be certain obligations in place. There will be certain rules and regulations that you will have to follow. When you sit down with the IMF or any other financial institution, the first thing they're going to look at, all right, cool. How can your country make money? How can you minimize certain things. So looking at the transport system in Barbados, and I keep saying all the time, looking at the transport system in Barbados, I knew for a fact eventually that was the direction it was going to go, because if you look at it, that's one of the sectors that take a big loss year in, year out. So if you're going to continue to go to these people and borrow money, you don't believe that they're going to tell you, well, listen, I think it's time for you to either sell this particular sector or increase your profit margin. And that's the reality of it. So when we're talking about borrowing, that's why I'm so much against the kind of borrowing and raising money going, because what's going to happen is we will become dependent upon outside money. We will no longer have the control that we need to run our country. So we're seeing it live. This is beginning of the end for so many other sectors as well, because now the government can't say, cool, we can just subsidize certain things just to ease the pockets of certain people. No, sell is sell, and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you borrow money.
Agree totally. Heather, I know you wanted to comment there. You're muted, Heather.
The reality of it, right? That, and I'll say this again. From independence until now, even though transportation has been doing so badly, no government has touched it, because they know that if they do, and the people know that this is a plan, they will be out of power, right? So think about that first and foremost, and know that the people have a glimpse of what the government wishes to do. What do you think they will do?
Yeah.
Vote them out.
Yeah, but vote them out. Now, I want to go back and look at a little history. And if we have former Senator Gill is supposed to be calling in. If you are listening and you're ready, I know you after class you try to refresh yourself, and then you call in. Please give us a WhatsApp call, Senator Gill, if you're listening. But let's look at, Dave, if you can bring up the first article there for us. This is an article, was it back in 20, I'll tell you when it is. Okay, so the article is in, because it's important, where you find, there's an article here in 2017 where Ryan Strawn, okay, the opposition, this is what the opposition was saying. Sell the loss-making transport board, suggests opposition spokesman. So the opposition spokesman from 2017. Dave, do you see that one? Yes, thank you. All right. So let's read this, because this same government, Zico, in 2017, Heather, when they were in opposition, this has always been the plan, because they have been pushing for this for a long time.
A long time.
Yeah. And it says here, you can see it, Heather, to read it for us.
With the economy as it stands, an opposition Barbados Labour Party BLP spokesman last night returned to the vexed issue of privatization, while suggesting that the state-run transport board should be sold. Delivering the 8th Tom Adams Memorial Lecture at the Barbados Workers' Union headquarters last night, the BLP's Christchurch East Central candidate Ryan Strawn warned that the island's social and economic conditions had changed significantly since 1976, when Adams, as Prime Minister, had paired licensing of individually owned public transportation service with the existing state-run bus service.
So,
okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
No, continue.
Okay. Today, there are more than 100,000 private vehicles in Barbados, and such accessibility is no longer an issue as it were in 1976, the Economist said. while emphasizing the need for divestment of the loss-making national bus service. I asked Barbados, when will we recognize that the government of Barbados does not have to own a bus to deliver subsidized fares for any of its citizens? The former central bank economist asked, while suggesting that in a 21st century Barbados, government's role should be that of a strong regulator and not owner of public transportation.
Yeah.
My problem with this, right, is that why dwell on the transport board making a loss? Why not create new industries that will make a profit? That's what I see. Because it is there for a purpose. Why disadvantage the poor more than they are now? And although he is arguing that there are less people now who
Using
need
the bus.
public transportation, right? There are more heavily taxed people now. So what's the difference? You're in the same boat. Why should governments be creating the environment for the creation of other industries that will be profitable and leave transportation alone? That's what I see.
Any thoughts there, Zico and Dave? If you could look for the 2014 article, because we want to. This was 2017, but this is something that the BLP has consistently wanting to do to put pressure on poor people. But go ahead, Zico.
Yeah, and this is what I was saying from the jump. As I know this was nothing new. This was in the making for a long time. They'd be trying to push it on the private sector. And just the way I was saying, I was giving the same arguments I know they would have given. It was operating at a loss, and yes, they could still put regulations in place where they could say bus fare will not go up, and people will not be using buses like how they once were. And then with the rural areas, they're not making any money. The prices for insurance, salaries, all these different kind of things, maintenance fees, etc. Fuel. They operate at a huge loss. And as I say once again, when you go and you borrow money, you don't just go pay interest, you lose control. And when you lose control, you will have to go and you will look at your bucks and you will try to cut your losses. That's the reality of it. Some people will agree, some people will disagree. But looking at it, and I said this here multiple times, the BLP run the country as a business. So when I'm speaking it in agreement, I'm speaking in terms of their point of view, how they see things. So when they look at it and they say, you know what we need to do, what we need to cut, because they want every single taxpayer dollar not going to subsidize a venture, but to say, you know what, we can take that taxpayer dollars and help pay back some of these loans that we got to pay. That's just the reality of it, So do I agree with it? No, I don't agree with it, but I could see why they decided, let's do this, and then, as Heather was mentioning that other governments decided not to touch it. If not, they would have been voted out. And I can tell you this here right now. The reason why they could push this and still feel safe to say this, because they're going to come up with a wonderful roll and they're going to say, you know what, we found a way that we can improve this transport issue by having, the average man being able to own the bus, become entrepreneurs, be able to make sure that, it's better maintained and so forth. So people are going to look at it like, whoa, this is innovative, it doesn't put pressure on the taxpayers' dollar. It making entrepreneurs of the everyday man, probably those who had the severance package can now go and eventually own a bus, and all these different kind of things that will be assisting them, whether it be subsidizing and help assisting them and keeping these buses or getting these buses. So I know how the PR is going to be. So I'm not going to be naive and come here and sit down and say, well, you know what, this is a bad idea. And I know how the role is going to be. You lose control when you borrow money. So when losing control, you have to go back to the bucks and you're going to look at what we need to cut, what we need to sell, what we need to hand over here, what we need to hand over there. And then when they got the new electric buses and what's not, when it was donated and so forth, I tell myself this would be the perfect time to hand over the sector. The reason why it would be the perfect time, because you know what? It's new buses, it's electric buses, it's going to be easy upon fuel. It's much easier to sell to the public. And that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Well,
You know, and you know, we have an article here on the screen where you're going to see, and this is why it's important to do this, because the regular press is not going to do this, because this is something that makes you know, the point. When you read the article, you're going to see why the press, they will never go back in the history and look at this. But we are going to do this on the show because we believe in being fair. All right. So if you read this article from 2014, read again for us, Heather. Right.
Government spokesmen have repeatedly stated their opposition to privatizing the transport board. Dave, can you make it a bit bigger? It is very fine at my end. Thank you. Government spokesmen have repeatedly stated their opposition to privatizing the transport board. In fact, Prime Minister Frendel Stewart is on record as defending the state's involvement in public transportation, tracing it back to the board's establishment in 1955. The Transport Board Act, was passed because everything was not going all right, and the state had to get involved and control public transport in Barbados, he said in August 2012 at the height of debate about privatization in Barbados. To this day, no government of Barbados has stopped private people from getting involved in public transportation. But the Transport Board is controlled by the state, and it is controlled by the state because, again, for us, Barbados is not just an economy, it is also a society.
Stop there.
Yes.
Stop right there. Stop
Yes.
right there. Now, this is the caliber of a leader, and this is why I say of this media in Barbados, they will not report this. They will not go back in the history. This right here, Mr. Frendel Stewart, this is why I say he's a caliber of a man. And when I do these kinds of things, Zico, they say I am DLP. But look at what, this is what Heather was saying tonight. Basically, this is what Barbados is, not just an economy. It is also a society. So you can't, as Zika was saying, the BLP always, they're pushing, they pretend, as somebody said, they push pipe dreams. They push pipe dreams. Somebody said that in the comment section, right? And look at what Frendel Stewart, guys, pause and share up the live, because they don't want this here to come out. This is 2014. And he was opposing the idea. Oh, I get excited. Go ahead, Heather, please.
The Transport Board performs a social service not rooted in the pursuit of profit making, but rooted in the humanitarian pursuit of ensuring that people can get from one part of Barbados to another, he added. But while the current administration's opposition to ceding control of the Transport Board to private interests, there seems to be a consensus that the island's overall public transportation system is in need of improvement. In addition to Transport Board buses, the system includes privately owned minibuses and ZRs. There are also thousands of privately owned cars and other vehicles Barbadians own. Over time, the number of vehicles on the road have increased substantially, prompting concerns about its impact on national productivity, among other things. The Minister of Transport and Works, Michael Lashley, is one individual who sees a need for an overhaul of the system, a view shared by most of his predecessors in either the current or previous administration. We have to integrate the private transportation with the public transport. It is too costly in terms of the expenses, and we are looking at bringing efficiencies to the Transport Board. That is part of the restructuring program to bring a level of profitability to the Transport Board, he said. earlier this year.
Right, we can pause there. But Dave, go back up to what our former Prime Minister Frondel Stewart said, and it will be very important for us to hear from Mr. Frondel Stewart. I mean, there are lots of people who believe that he needs to be put in a corner somewhere, as though he was never a prime minister. And again, go ahead and label me DLP as you want. I am being fair. I am being fair. That this man, Frondel Stewart, did everything that he could do to keep the IMF away from us, so that we were not in a position like this. So the IMF to be dictating to us which social services we need to privatize. Barbados is not just an economy, Mia Motley. It is also a society.
Yes.
Any thoughts on that, Zico?
You're correct, and that's what they keep saying. When you borrow money, you give up your freedom. You know, become dependent on people. And once you become dependent on people, you have to follow their rules. You have to follow their obligations, and that's what I've been saying for the longest time. The PLP run this country like it's just a business and not a country. When you run in a country, you look for the empowerment of people. For them, nope, it's just the dependency of people's money, and that's what it is. And then it's a very clear statement. So that's why when I see things like this, I am not surprised. You can't expect to borrow money and then make things happen for your own terms. It don't work. So no place, no, I'm telling you, it don't work. So when people say, how she getting these loans so easy? Of course, you know how she getting these loans so easy, because certain things have been in the pipeline. Certain things that say, yeah, this is what we're going to do, and this is the plan. This is how we're going to recoup, and this is what we're going to do. So for me, as I say once again, I am not going to be deluded and say, well, why they see it happening. From the time you see people borrow money, just know you're losing the control of your country.
Yeah. Heather, you made a statement about this. You said something like this should never. You basically said the same thing. The former prime minister has said here. This is a lot of. I mean, it's common sense, really. How you going to try to make profit, right? You could try, but ultimately, is that you need to take care of the society.
Right. Transportation was never about making a profit. It's to ensure that all Barbadians get from point A to point B. And if Mr. Strawn is going to argue that point, that there are more Barbadians now that have private transportation than ever before, he should also remember that there are more who are more heavily taxed now than they were before. So basically, their law has not changed. So they should maintain public transportation.
Yeah. And Mr. David Gill, I'm leaving the time open for you to call in via WhatsApp. I'm not hearing you, so then I will open the line. If I'm not getting you, I will have to open the line to others. Okay, so we have already agreed that you would have called in, and if I don't get you, sir, then I will have to open the lines to others. I would love to hear what the comments are. No, I can't. I have to take the calls. I have to come in via WhatsApp. The call must come in via WhatsApp so that we can hear it properly. I'm not taking the calls via any other means. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Gill, are you on the line?
Yes, I am very much.
Okay, so what we will do this again. So we're gonna so that I can accept the call in the proper way. Can you give us a call via WhatsApp? Thank you.
Will do.
Thanks. Yes, he was a former senator and a former MP. And guys, while he's getting ready to call, if anybody, what are your thoughts about what Mr. Frondel Stewart is saying there, the 2014 concerning this issue? Right, you can go ahead and comment. We have Mr. Gill on the line. Good evening, Mr. Gill.
Yes, Marcia. Good evening to you and to the panel and to the loyal opposition.
I've been following most of your program so far, and this bus issue, transport issue, is just another big ticket item gone sour. And each time you fail, that's millions of dollars down the drain. And it is something I've been following as far back as before Mr. Walter Blackman passed on. I remember engaging him in a lengthy discussion one day, and he summed up by asking me, "Do you see it?" I said, "No, it's not." Marcia, here it is. And let me say something. The more loans we get into, the greater the taxes, because we pay loans through taxes, as you know.
Yeah.
All right? And the PM said earlier o'clock, she has the IMF on speed dial. You remember that?
Yes.
Here it is. The more buses we import, it seems as if the more the service deteriorates even greater. I have a young relative who travels out to St. Peter, and he gets Gurkha if he has to play an evening or has to go to private tuition and a parent doesn't collect him. It is Gurkha, 2 hours before he gets home. And I have a friend who comes from St. Joseph, coming out of the Melbourne Hill area. That's almost 2 hours again on mornings here. So we cannot say that it has solved the transportation woes. So we failed. You asked the question why, and I addressed that some time ago. But sometimes, Marcia, when you speak to issues and the people are not ready for it yet, you could talk till the pigeons fly home.
Yeah.
They're not gonna listen. So I think now is the time. Here it is. Let's start a transport day from 6 a.m. to 12 midnight. Now, I do my research. I have been told that a bus, let's say long haul to the Crane or to Bathsheba, that is, let's say an hour out, an hour in. It can do that. Then an hour out and an hour in. So that's 4 hours. Then it has to charge between 4 to 6 hours. So let's say on average 5. And then it goes again and it repeats. Okay? Another 4 on the road and another 5. So Marcia, in an 18-hour transport day,
yes,
that's from 6 until midnight. That's 18 hours. That bus is down 10 hours. Put another way, it is up 8 hours. 8 out of 18 is less than 50% efficient. So if you look at it, an old diesel bus just has to turn around and get diesel and gone again. So relatively speaking,
hold a minute. So you're saying that these electric buses, out of the 18 hours, that they are down 10 hours?
That is, if I go by what I have been told.
Why?
If I go by what I have been, because it has to be charged, Marcia, and charging is not this is the reason why electric vehicles, especially for government or national service, whether it is transport for children, garbage, what have you. That is why in America, even people personally, they have not caught on, because of all these problems turn around the battery. You see, the number of ports, and as I get ahead, I'll show you where the battery is the Achilles heel of these electric vehicles. Now, I don't know who went to China to see them, because I know that a good friend of mine who used to be on the transport board, he's now gone on. He has gone overseas several times when he was on the transport board, deputy chairman, to see how the buses are at, the Mercedes or whatever, whichever, Mercedes, whatever. And I don't know who went. I don't know what surfaces they travel on, because the Chinese could very well have surfaces, Marcia, which are so designed
Yes.
that the buses are constantly being recharged. You're inducing a charge into them. I think they have that sort of layout on the streets of London, at least in inner London, but that's another topic for another time. So yes, you are right. You are down 10 if I understand my source correctly, and you're up 8. So that is less than 50% efficient. So if you do the ratio of a diesel bus to an electric bus, it is 2 point something. You don't have a piece of bus, so you will say it takes 3. These are the questions that you give children at common entrance. It takes 3 electric buses to do what 1 diesel bus would do. So when the Chinese say they gave us 30 buses, oh no, they didn't give us 30 buses. That 30 buses is to help to make up the complement. So you have to find out what our rolling stock was prior to going into the electric bus. If it was 150, it would take 450 electric buses. And then on speaking with my mechanic, who keeps abreast of most things, he said to me that he understands that they are cannibalizing the old buses. If that is true, you are moving towards a pure electric bus service.
So hold a second. I'm slowing you down because I want to make
no problem.
This is so interesting, guys. So you said they're cannibalizing the diesel buses in what way?
Sorry, but you take 3 to make 1. Let's say that you if your intention is to redo the energy program for the whole island, which I think they're failing miserably, then you're going to phase out if you're into this climate change and climate warming nonsense. Because we're not contributing, Barbados not contributing to any global warming. The global warming which we are affected by is coming from the east of us, Africa, the big continent, which is overheating. All right, so no matter what we do, that is like a drop from a drop of vial in the ocean. Cannot really make any significant input. So if that is the desire, then your desire is to phase out diesel buses, which America, what we should have done, and I heard Mr. Williams talk about it. I don't know how proficient he is. I don't know if he has the staff to do it. I don't know. I wouldn't contribute on that. But what I'm saying, they should have re-engineered the buses. Now, would you, Marcia Weekes, buy an electric bus?
I mean, given what you're saying here, it would not be efficient. I can't see what would be my reason for doing that. If it's a case where I have lots of diesel buses and then I'm complementing my fleet of buses, I could throw in a couple of these electric buses. Okay, but I can't see me depending. I couldn't, based on what you're saying here, I can't see why I would depend on electric buses.
But Marcia,
Those buses should be for like little city circles around the city, because as I said, we do not have the facility for them to be constantly being recharged as they move around. Now, you ask the question, is the profit in the batteries? The batteries, no one, I read an intense review about this almost a year ago. No one battery, like let's say Exide, I'm only pulling two names. These are old name batteries. Exide might not be like another one. No two batteries are alike. Some batteries I understand can give you a 2-year, some a 5-year. So you cannot say that these batteries will give me 5 years. No. What is the price? Is it 20,000 US, 20,000 BDS? If you bring in 40 or 50 at one time, would these 40 or 50 come down the same time? Would you get like a bell curve? Most of them will go for 5 years. Will some go at 2? Will some go at 7? So that is the other thing. Now, recently, this year, the Bundestag, the German parliament, said they were not given any further concessions to electric vehicles. They had reached the maximum. Why? Because they did not. This is German, the leaders in technology. They said they did. I heard that only about 6 or so months ago. They did not anticipate that the battery cost would have been so exorbitant. So you go and you fend for yourself. Now, one of the other problems with that, if you touch your vehicle, bus, car, whatever, with a battery, electric battery, the whole thing now becomes a great uncertainty. They cannot take impacts. They cannot take impacts. Therefore, the moment you are reselling a vehicle that was touched, either accidentally, great accident, or accident by the driver, coming into the transport port or going around a corner, what have you, the cost of that battery depreciates rapidly. As a matter of fact, they said write it off.
Right.
The other thing is the cost to insure an electric vehicle is way greater than the diesel. Why? Because the lithium battery is the source of an almost spontaneous combustible event. Anytime you go on the road.
Explain.
By that I mean it could catch, to put it in Belgium, it could catch fire anytime.
Right. That's how I want you to break it down to it could catch fire.
Sorry, it could catch fire anytime. It could catch fire when charging. It could catch fire once on the road. Okay, so that pushes the insurance price up. Therefore, the price of they're going to have to mark these down very, very, very strictly, especially if they're not in a battery already. Okay, they have to mark them down. No, disposable. How you get rid of the batteries? The batteries are very energetic. When they go to a landfill, they prescribe that they have their own landfill. Okay. You could imagine taking them to our landfill and fire breaks out. You do not treat them with the conventional water. You have to have special foams. Those fires that can burn for days. All right. The other thing is, having disposed of them, our water source is vulnerable because lithium is the most highly reactive metal. If a student or somebody who has done chemistry will tell you, yes, lithium is the most reactive metal that there is. You see, so all of those factors which to transport the batteries is also a high insurance cost, and I think that goes into it. Now, just after the Soufriere event. Because I remember speaking to it, I said, look, you're going to be very careful with these electric vehicles and the amount of dust on the road, the amount of magnetic dust on the road. My question is, cannot quantificate. My question is, did the Soufriere dust contribute to the malfunctioning of those buses? And by once you get the dust start kicking up and the wind currents, my answer is more than likely. The other thing is, if you have heavy rainfall, you don't even have to have the rainfall that Jamaica has. You have to be very careful with those buses. Now, the Chinese seem not to have the same reputation with electric vehicles as with the electric cars, and vis-a-vis the Japanese cars. They seem not to have the same reputation. Now, there are certain questions that have to be asked.
But why? Why do you think that is?
Marcia, that is in the engineering. I mean, that is in the engineering. I will tell you something. Marcia. During the COVID, I was protecting myself on who comes to my place. I bought the trigger pump bottles to put alcohol in, so that if you got. When I got home, I poured alcohol in a bottle, and the bottom of the bottle fell out.
You pour alcohol
into the bottle to sanitize hands. And when I poured the alcohol, so that is the That is that's a mistake. That's an inherent problem. Something went wrong there in manufacturing the plastic bottle. So I brought as simple a thing as that. You see that sometimes you have to recall vehicles. You have to recall food products. Something has gone wrong. Is it a part of the engineering that they're not mastering? So you ask the question, why is it that the more buses we buy, the worse the system becomes? Is it because of the battery? Is it because of an intrinsic engineering problem? Is it because of the computerized system? For months now, I've been saying, look, with all these buses coming, there will be no place for you in a room for a long 18-inch two drivers going under the hood of there's a car. You hook up the computers and you analyze, you say, now what is contributing to the overall shutdown? What is contributing to the overall power boosting? What? Right? So those things are analyzed and solved by computer. So we have some questions on our hand. Why is it that the US did not move the electric bus? Why is it that? Why is it? And the problem that we plan to experience or are experiencing. And the major one is you could pull in and refuel, but you just can't pull in and re-energize and move within an hour. You ask yourself, what has the saving been? You want to know what the saving has been on when you tally it, because you cannot speak about going fully green or electric by 2050. Then each time you take in a bus, you recharge, you are using fossil fuel to recharge the bus.
Exactly.
So you ain't doing nothing. So when people go to UN and put down these big speeches, people who know the science will hang their heads in shame. There is, and listen, Marcia, the whole thing, in my opinion, with this electric going the way of it, phasing out the diesel, the best person to have carried that any one party's business, but the best person would have been like engineer. He is Marcia, less than 1%. Listen, less than 1% of Barbados, or even the world, knows how you move from fossil fuel to me being able now to come on to this program, or where you go to switch on a fan, to switch off a fan, to get electricity in your house for a bulb to burn. They don't know it. So if you do not know it, do not accept a job to champion. Do not accept a job to go and speak to it at World Forum, because you make yourself and the country look silly.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot achieve this. We cannot achieve this goal.
And we make mistakes, because obviously somebody did not do their study. But I think Zico's been trying to make a comment or ask a question. Zico?
No problem.
Yes,
most definitely. This has been a very, very good. Go ahead, Zico.
Yeah, although I agree with majority of what he has said in terms of the buses, I just want to fact check on the length of time it takes to charge one of those buses, which is 3 hours. And then also to the maximum amount it can actually go with a full battery is 240 kilometers.
Right, no, he's saying something. For some reason, we're not hearing you.
You can hear me?
You're not hearing me?
No, I think it's a setup that we have.
You can hear me? You can hear me now?
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you now.
You hear me?
Heather, can you hear Zico?
No, I can't hear Zico. Let me lower the fan, the ceiling.
No, I think it's our setup here. Go ahead. I will try to translate. Go ahead, Zico.
Yeah. I wanted just to fact check him on the length of time it takes to charge one of the buses, which is 3 hours.
Hold a second there. He's saying the length of time to charge a bus is 3 hours.
Yeah.
Marcia,
and then the distance.
Okay,
so the battery
hold a minute. Let him finish. Let him finish. Go ahead.
Right, and then the distance until it's depleted is 240 kilometers.
The distance at what?
Until the battery is depleted, empty, drained.
Oh, it's 240 hours that it's that
Kilometers, no kilometers, kilometers.
kilometers. Well, I can't hear you well. Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
3
then not
hours,
only that,
3 hours to charge.
yeah, and then the
Is
lifespan.
this charge from now? When you say charge, do you mean a top-up charge or a charge from very low?
That's the other thing.
Do you
charge from the
do
terminal?
you mean go for 3 hours? Does the vehicle really tolerate those 3 hour charges, or are they supposed to work them down and then work them back up? If you drive by the transport board now as we speak, or within an hour, those buses are charging from 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock until 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, the buses. So probably a car might be different.
Oh, a car is different. Oh, yeah.
What I'm talking about is not what I'm talking about is actual buses, not the car.
It takes the car 3 hours.
Okay,
then
he can't
it
hear
is
you.
logical that a bus will take
Okay, okay, hold a second. Hold a second. Let's hear Zico.
Right. What I'm talking about is not a car. We're talking about the actual buses in terms of when they go to the terminal, when they charge overnight. It takes 3 hours for them to be fully charged. After the 3 hours, they can go to 240 kilometers.
Kilometers,
Kilometers, sorry. And then the lifespan of the battery in terms of years is 6 to 12 years. When the battery is then completely finished, the transport board then takes it and then send it so it can be recycled. So they can then probably then import more new batteries so it can continue to work along those lines. But everything else in terms of what he was saying so far in terms of it being expensive to insure, he being totally on point. But just for that part, it just takes only 3 hours, 240, which basically means that at the end it can service you a whole duration of the day.
Right. So what Zika said, and that's something that we will have to look into what's happening in Barbados, because former Senator Gill is an engineer, and so he's saying
no, not an engineer, not an engineer, but
I'm mixing up with John Knox. I'm sorry.
No, that's John Knox. we were informed together. He went into one brand of engineering. I went into another brand of science.
Right. Okay. So what we need to do is to get, is it what is it that is taking 3 hours, and what is it that is taking 8 to 10 hours? Okay. So we need to look into that.
Okay. Right. Okay, Marcy. So at least I am on the other side. I'm even below. I am saying 5 hours. And Zico said 3 for a car, which is reasonable. And then the car can't be the same as a bus. So let's say 6 or even more. Right? So we are more or less saying the same thing. Come out of the distance. You also have to take the terrain. If it's a hilly terrain that I spoke with drivers, Marcia.
Mm-hmm.
When I get my research, I go to the core. I spoke with drivers. And I've been told we drive in a bus, it goes on the charge at 11, 12 o'clock, and it is ready the next morning,
okay.
5, 6 o'clock.
So let's settle this here, because it probably is depending on the type of bus that it is, could be, because it's saying here, AI is telling us that the bus could take up to 8 hours. You see this here? Charging an electric bus can take anywhere from 4 to 8 hours for an overnight plug-in charge.
What is the average of that? What's the average from 4 to 8?
Well, it does.
6.
It does. Well, yeah.
No, take the average. So scientifically, you would say 6 hours. It's like you have a set of chickens. Some will reach the weight in 6 weeks. Some will take 8 weeks. So you say 7 weeks is the average. That is my ballpark figure, determined by the drivers.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just.
The other thing is, sorry.
I was going to read something here that we have on the screen that everybody can see. And it says that 48 hours for an overnight plug-in charge to as little as 5 to 15 minutes with fast charging pantograph systems at the end of a route. The specific time depends, which is why I was saying probably why we have that discrepancy, depends on the battery size and the charger's power output, with slower chargers providing a full charge overnight, full charge.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
rapid chargers, as you were asking, chargers topping up the battery during the day. So, yeah, go ahead.
No, taking all of those things into account, what charger system does the transport board have? The transport board has a charger system where buses go in after 2 long haul trips, and I was told the Crane and like Bathsheba, and they're down for 5 hours, 6 hours. So that is the ballpark that our charger and our buses fall into. Okay, and that's what I'm saying to you, that when you read the literature, America says for the law, and they should have the most up-to-date system. We don't have it. We don't have it. And I said to you, are you dealing with a top-up or are you dealing with a full charge that we have to use now? Okay, so it is the availability of the research of the technology. So let us deal with what we have. And it is also the terrain and how the bus is driven. If it's idling for a long time in traffic, if it's held up for a long time in traffic. So it's the delay held up in traffic, how you drive it, and the terrain. Is it a hilly terrain? Is our terrain so rough and rugged that very sensitive parts become dislodged? All of those are things we have to answer. For sure, we do not have surfaces over which they drive that would induce or push back in a charge. We just do not have it. We don't have it, Marcy. So I have been saying for a long time that the Chinese will take over the transport board because they have the technology.
Hold a minute. So I'm here thinking that I'm coming up, Zico, with a conspiracy theory. I'm in the arts, I do accounting. I'm not into these kinds of things. But that is the thought that came to my mind, that if they are supplying the buses, and especially if it is true, if these buses are, they can be centrally controlled and the computer is centralized, Heather, that very much so they could be the ones that's going to control. Eventually, they're the ones that's going to control the transport board. That is rather interesting. Let me hear from Heather before we go on. Go ahead, Heather. Let's see if we can hear you.
I think it's a setup.
Yeah,
it has to be. It has to be a setup. So they are already there waiting in the wings, hoping that because based on what y'all were discussing about insurance costs and so on, I think this may be too much for a regular bus driver, but let's wait and see. So if it is set up to fail, the Chinese will be waiting in the wings.
Yes. Somebody said they were in a bus where the battery was going down and had to carry it into Mangrove Depot. Well, I mean, if you will have to take the bus, even if it's a diesel bus, to go and get it top up to get gas, so diesel. So
but relatively speaking, that time is statistically insignificant.
Yes, agree.
Insignificant. 15 minutes as opposed to 5 hours, that's 0 time. So you could almost say the diesel, when compared to the electric bus, does not stop. 15 minutes to 5 hours to 6 hours to 7 hours to 8 hours. These are, and I have been using conservatively 5 hours. I'm not pushing it to win my argument, but it may very well land in the 8 hour ballpark figure where now you have to look for 4 or 5 buses to replace the electric bus that is down. So I'm saying I can't see any driver who works there going to buy that bus. So this is why I am coming around to say that the Chinese will be the ones who will run it. They know the technology. They know the technology. They know the technology of charging. They could tell transport board, well, look, let us write off charger versus the money that you owe me. So I don't have to buy this charger. I don't even have to pay for the charger. Let all of that work out until we get down 50-50. You see, so there is nothing in there. nothing in there for the masses. It reminds me so much of the shares which is being given to the people in the sugar industry and the best go from bulk energy. It reminds me so much of that you're going to give the workers part of the equity.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Yes.
So that's why I say it's Marcia, show me a big project that has come off, and what I worry is because of the taxes.
Yeah.
My supermarket bags getting smaller each visit.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Gill, I need you to I know this is, you have your classes, etc. But I'm going to ask you kindly to join us again on Sunday.
You could fit me in. Just let me know how I could. I can bet you, Marcia, by tomorrow, when I go to a funeral that I have to go to, some transport board worker is going to call me over and tell me 6 hours, Gilly, from 11 till 6, which is really 7 hours. 10, and the thing is, they keep so much noise. It's a very noisy. I don't know how people who live nearby could put it, but it's a noisy. This is like jet bombers coming into your terrain. It's a very noisy thing. You see, the whole thing about it is the energy project was not well calculated. They did not go and get out the granular parts of each of it. There are several moving parts per project, and if you don't know how my moving parts, my anatomy is going to synchronize with your anatomy, then the overall physiology cannot work. Full stop.
Yeah. Well, listen, I know that there are a couple of you were calling, but we wanted to have this kind of discussion. I wanted Mr. Gill, he and I had a long talk. I think it was either yesterday or early this morning, and I wanted him to come on and to share. And I wanted Zico, a young person, to be on, an entrepreneur to be on. And I reached out to Heather, an economist, to be on tonight, and we need to continue this. Hopefully Miss McLean can join us on Sunday, which is our regular night. And as I said to people, sometimes we're discussing this and they say, oh, but it's, she has all these BLP person on here. Are you your BLP, Zico? Your DLP?
No, I'm not. I have no affiliation with any party.
Exactly. Your DLP, Heather?
Right now, yes, I am a DLP because I could not support. I cannot support what the Barbados Labour Party is doing to the country.
Heather, you mash up my theory. Heather, when did that change? Anyway, we'll talk off camera.
I could not lie. I could not lie.
APP or independent.
I couldn't lie. I want what is best for this country.
Heather, let's talk about that another time. See,
another time.
But I haven't seen Heather. I haven't talked to Heather in a long time. And I haven't made up my mind. Honestly, I haven't made up my mind on what I'm doing as yet. I really have not. And I know that Mr. What's his name? Mr. Gill is not DLP either. Mr. Gill was a BLP senator and BLP minister.
Not only a senator, Marcia, I had the privilege to represent the Barbados Labour Party for 5 years as the representative for St. Michael South Central. So I cannot say I was, as a matter of fact, I wasn't me, and I walked away. Even if I didn't walk away, I didn't give them a chance to push me.
Yeah. But what for me, and I say Zico, when I said Zico, like, really, Marcia? No, the truth is this, and it's a dead truth. Mm-hmm. I sit down, Heather, and I look at the people in my constituency, right? And that's how I vote. What I can tell you for sure, because I want to make sure that we diversify what happens there in Parliament and we have more opposition voices. I will not be voting for nobody that's in government right now. You understand? But I honestly do sit down and I look at everybody, all the candidates, and I make a decision. on it. That's the truth. I'm not being disingenuous. I see you rolling your eyes, Zico.
Marcia, just let me edge in there. I can't want to speak about buses and transport to let but you hear the sweet note there. If you and your husband had put into trust your all your belongings, all your property, real and otherwise, and your bank account, your insurance, everything, but to be held in trust, and you would see the trustees not managing it properly, what would you do? Would you keep quiet? Would you allow them to go on, or would you change the trustees?
Definitely.
You gotta change.
Yeah.
You got to change the trustees. You got upon another trustee do it more or less, and you will change them.
Again.
But if you don't change them, you cannot get change.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And has nothing to do if you wear a nice three-piece suit, if you're the most handsome, if you're the most gorgeous lady. It has nothing to do with that. We are leaving, as an ad on MSNBC says, we are leaving the environment for our children. We are leaving the assets of this country are being held by the government for our children and our children's children. And if you see that they're not managing the assets well, you tell them that sorry. Okay, if you say nothing, you're going along with it. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you have to do something, so don't say I will stay home. Stay home and do what?
Yeah.
They just are suffering. I know about what I speak. I've never had to give people certain basic things like within the past 3 or so years. This is a suffering.
Yes.
This is a suffering, and some of them are doing it in silence. Others may be a little more noisy, but they're suffering in silence. The ones who march with you, sure they're suffering, but the ones who don't come out, they're not suffering, but they're scared.
Yeah.
You know, so you just say, look, it's time to make a change. Full stop. John Stanley Goddard said it. Did he go in after government? Got up in the Senate. He says, look, man, he didn't say that Arthur was running the country bad. He says, time for change now.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole of corporate Barbados went with him. You know, when corporate Barbados goes with it, the workers go with it. So it's time for change.
Yeah, it's obvious. It's definitely obvious. Well, thank you, Mr. Gill. This was very, very informative. Thank you so much. God bless you, and we will chat off camera. Thank you.
God bless you.
Yes, and thanks to Zico for bringing that entrepreneurial perspective that I know a lot of people don't want to hear, and that a lot of people are going to see it the way that Zico is expressing it. And that's why I love to have young people around. They are going to hear what, as he's saying, they're going to say, oh, but they want to empower Black people. They want to do this. They want to do that. They're not going to realize that it's a trick. They know the buses can't fix here. They know the myriads of problems that they're having with these buses. And they know that eventually somebody's going to come in and swoop down. Possibly. That's what we're thinking. So thank you, Zico. Thank you, Heather, for sharing with us tonight. It's been a pleasure. Don't stay away that long. That I don't even know what that you change your political persuasion. You and I need to have a chat. I told this McLean, I'm trying to diversify the show. I don't want, let's bring in Zico. I had no idea. You shocked me tonight. You mash up my thing, man. But tomorrow we have the march, guys. The march is tomorrow. Zico, I'll leave Zico for last. Heather, what are you saying to Barbadians about this solidarity walk tomorrow?
Even before I get there, I want to remind people that the goal of public transportation is for efficiency, not profitability. Efficiency. That is the bottom line. Make it efficient and everybody will be happy. And for tomorrow, I am appealing to all Barbadians to come out and show support, because your support is not only for Ronnie, it is for freedom of speech and expression. So you must take an extra effort to get out tomorrow. Don't stay in your beds. Just come out and show your support to the march.
Yes. Thank you so much, Heather. Thank you. Zico John.
Yes. Want to remind everybody, one for all for one. Come out tomorrow. It's a unity walk in solidarity, not just for Ronnie, but for all of those who have been victimized, for all of those who have been silent, for all of those who've been out there speaking out and feeling the pressure or feeling scared. It is time that we march for free speech. It's time we march and walk for the injustice that we are seeing. So people, bring somebody, come out 10 o'clock sharp. We can meet you along the road. Come donate something, don't care if it's $5, $2, whatever it is you got. It goes a long way to making sure things like this here can come off. It goes a long way to making sure that we have a voice. It goes a long way. Yeah, we can discuss this here on the show. We can discuss this here on the net. But actually, people seeing us and seeing us mobilizing is where really and truly the power is really this come from. Mm-hmm. So people, please come out tomorrow. So, yep.
Yeah, somebody said a fantabulous show tonight, and this whole it's so interesting. I've learned so much from these three panelists and from you guys tonight. It's been really a fantabulous show, and it's going to continue on Sunday night with Maxine McLean. Hopefully that we are able to continue that. We will. I'll let you know. It's either going to continue on Monday night, Sunday night, or Monday, probably Monday night. I'll let you all know what we'll be doing. Again, thank you all so much. See you tomorrow. Remember to wear white. Wear something white tomorrow, okay? And come out and support One for All, right? All for One. Come out and support, okay? God bless you guys, and see you tomorrow, 10 o'clock.
The Kaisonka with news that must make every Kaiso lover's blood boil. They fire the announcer, they fire Ronnie. Why? Cause he sing a Kaiso, critical of a big wig in culture. They forget the power of Gabi. We have one message. Sing Ronnie say. Censure him, they fire the man, cause he sing a case about the culture plan. They try to shut him up, they try to kill his sound, but they can't stop the truth from spreading all around. It's the same thing they do to the mighty Gabi. They ban government boots, now they vex with Ronnie. Tell them loud,
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
let the Kaiso ring.
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
The truth you must bring. Now the River Road Station, they think they clever. Throw your song in the river, but Kaiso live forever. What? Kaiso live forever. Yes. They ban the song, Jack who block the people's beach. They always try to silence the Kaiso speech. They're afraid of the peacock, they're afraid of the light, they're afraid of the people standing up for their right. But Ronnie joined the band of legends, proud and tall, and the people stand behind him, ready for the cause. So we tell them,
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
let the Kaiso ring.
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
The truth you must bring. Now the River Road Station, they think they clever. Throw your song in the river, but Kaiso live forever. But Kaiso live forever. Hey, yes.
Sing, Ronnie, sing.
You can't ban the man song.
Sing,
They could throw it in the river, but it go flow out to the sea for more people to hear. My Bajan family, It's Ronnie's right to free speech.